Yeah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. One second. Let me get all the folks in here, y'all. Uh, hold up. Good evening, everybody. We got the OGs in the house. Are y'all not gonna raise the roof? Ain't that what y'all did? What was the bank head bounce? Raise the roof. Alhamdulillah, we back with the history of the Aqeedah Wars. And let me be clear, as our elder Jomo, Ustad Jomo, let me know, like, we're not coming confrontational. This ain't a beef. This ain't none of that. This not a beef or nothing. When we say Aqeedah Wars, oh, excuse me. Where's my etiquettes? Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. So when we say the history of the Aqeedah Wars, what we mean by that is there was a split and a divide in the community, particularly particularly the Black community. So I know we got a lot of viewers from overseas or whatnot. We got a lot of viewers from overseas. Alhamdulillah. Let me getting all the promo together. I know we got a lot of viewers from overseas, but like me and what's his name, Salih, Ustad Salih, yesterday we established that we are pivotal with leaders in this whole situation. Because number one, we got the technology. We got when Salafia hit America. We are the ones that was and have been pushing it via the internet, and a lot of my African brothers and sisters let me know, like, they following our lead. Same difference, like we called it yesterday with Salih. They said our Southeast Asian brothers been saying the same thing to them, that they watching us. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. So what we want to do with this initiative is let me put this on silent. What we want to do in this initiative is give a historical account from the guys that were boots on the ground, so to speak, during the development of all of this. And this is very, very important for the young bucks like myself and people younger than me. I'm 37. People younger than me. All we see now is Salafi this, Salafi this, Salafi this. We don't know how it got the way that it did and how it is. So we need to understand what our actual roots are, and the actual roots were Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah, the actual true Atharis, the actual true the Ash'aris and the Maturidis. The Salafi thing was kind of infused, and the brothers are here, our elders, Imam Muhammad, Ustad Jomo Ali. They are here to give us firsthand account of what happened here in America, more particularly in the East Coast, where Islam kind of nestled itself since the time of the Nation of Islam and then the Warathim Muhammad community. That's what appealed to Black people and minorities. And that's the cradle of it all. Chi-Town, Detroit, Jersey, Philly, New York, that is the hub of Islam in the minority communities. And somehow, some way, now we didn't slipped off into some type of Salafi thing. So the elders are here to give us a historical account, what they actually saw and experienced with their own eyes, what was happening, who was who, what was what, and what was being done, what was being said. We're going to get an actual historical account of how this development took place and took off in the U.S. of A. So without further ado, I'm gonna pass the mic to our elders. Inshallah ta'ala, they're gonna introduce themselves, say where they from, where they at, what they into. And inshallah ta'ala, I got a narrative put together, some questions I want to ask that are relevant to this whole the historical development of the Aqeedah so-called wars during the what was it, the 90s, right? The 90s, right, was what made all this stuff what it is right now, right, y'all?
Yeah, like exactly.
The night. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
So
that was like
uh
the
Yeah.
Ustad Jomo is going Jomo Ali, he's gonna go first, inshallah ta'ala, and then we'll have Imam Muhammad come in after him. Habibi, it's all you. Bismillah.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabi ajma'in. Wa ba'd. Barakallahu fikum, Ustad Abdul Kabir, for putting together this program. This is a long-standing topic that you would figure 30 years later would be dead by now. I mean, because we've been going over this for so many years. It's like I'm getting burnt out of it basically. But alhamdulillah, just to put the information out there, not to keep, going over the same thing. And that's part of what we're trying to do now. We're trying to call people to the way of Allah Sunnati wal Jama'ah, with some hikmah and wisdom, because we've been through all the rah-rah and everything from back in the days. And now we want to call people to Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah bil Basira, with you know, open eyes and an open heart, basically. You know, which wisdom is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, but I mean, it goes back to, I can go back to 1994, 1995. I became Muslim in 1993 after growing up in Brooklyn, New York, as a youngster, being introduced to a pseudo Islam, through the 5% Nation from in 1982, something like that, to the 5% Nation. And then from there, from always being, studious young man, and always having an inclination to find out the truth about my Lord, asking questions and reading, and being influenced by reading the autobiography of Malcolm X as a young man, and then reading the books Message to the Black Man and Our Savior Has Arrived. And those who know about the Nation of Islam know exactly what I'm referring to. There was a a jeweler, older Muslim man, a jeweler on Utica Avenue, because I went to school like on the borderline of Flatbush in East New York, and he used to sell jewelry. He was in a nation, and I used to go to ask him questions because I found out that the 5% Nation was directly related to the Nation of Islam. So I used to go to him and ask him questions all the time. Like I said, after reading the Message to the Black Man, and I wanted to know who was Fard Muhammad and who was he, and asking DJ, and he told me, he said, "Look, go up there, up on Eastern Parkway. There was a temple up there on the corner of Eastern Parkway and Utica Avenue, right on top of the McDonald's. And he said, go up there. He said, don't. He said, the brothers up there don't like me, but go up there and you'll get all the information that you're looking for." So from there, I went there and listened to the talks. They used to do it on Sunday afternoons, and then I got involved with the Junior FOI. At that young age. This is before high school. Now I'm talking about. Right, I'm
SubhanAllah.
talking about. You know, I was in '82. I was 10 years old. Put it like about 10, 11 years old. I used to go there and train with the Junior for a while. I used to do karate and all that kind of good stuff back in the day. So yeah, and then going on into high school. Now, mind you, all these years never learned anything about Orthodox Islam. There was the Ansars was big too, and they used to sell the pamphlets or whatnot. They used to walk around with the white thobes with the earrings in their nose and everything. But we never. I used to read their books, but I never got into that group. That was like a little bit too much for me at the time. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so we did that and went into high school, and then of course, high school, like nobody, was wearing. I didn't want to wear bow ties and suits to high school. That was the era of going into from Adidas and Lee's into being, the preppy gangster with Polo, Benetton, Guess, and Gerbo, right? That whole. So I went back into my 5% phase, but later on, I ran into some trouble with the law, and I was in North Carolina, and was a brother came into our unit at the time, and he had a Quran in his hand. It was like, back in the days, I don't know if you remember, maybe Imam Muhammad remember when they used to have the Qurans that were like that big, the big blue, the translations, they were real big. Remember those? Right?
Yeah, I remember those.
Right.
Saudi had put them joints out. They would like have them shipped to
Exactly.
all of the masjids in America. They was really the revised.
The King
It was like the
Saud.
revised noble. They was like the revived use of Ali Quran slash
The King Saud. The King Saud.
Yeah, I've
King
seen them
Saud,
before. I wasn't around during that
That's what
time,
it
but I've
was.
seen them.
International, whatever.
Yeah, I've
That's
seen
what
them.
it was. That's what it
Yeah,
was.
I remember them joints.
And so, and as a matter of fact, stick a pin right there, because this is really, when we talk about the Salafi movement and the Wahhabi movement, we talking about the movement that comes out of Saudi Arabia. So that translation of the Quran, translation of the meanings of the Quran, I should say, right, tells us a lot about what we were getting in our community. What were we exposed to when it came to Orthodox Islam? We were getting what Saudi Arabia was publishing and sending over here, basically, right? So anyway, I accepted Islam at the time, right? And then, during my transition, I wound up in Fort Dix, New Jersey. And the brothers, I was young, running wild, hot headed, and all that. And the brothers snatching. They said, "Nah, young brother, you got to get it together, and we're gonna show you how to be a Muslim." And at this time, I was still saying the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, because I didn't know any better, right? So they had to snatch me up and school me like, "Nah, we not on that. We Sunni Orthodox Muslim, and this is what it means." And there I began to learn what it means to be an Orthodox Muslim. There was a brother from Imam Ali from Pakistan, and some other brothers from Philly, a brother named Shahid. If any of those brothers ever watch this, they're gonna know. And anybody who knows anything about Fort Dix, they're gonna be able to relate to what I'm talking about, right? Brother Shahid was from the Fuqra Jamaat. He was a brother who could recite Quran very well. There was another brother named Jabir who was he was like the assistant imam. He had a beautiful adhan. He could also recite Quran very well. And of course, and they were students from Imam Amin, believe it or not. Imam Amin was a heavyweight in the system back at that time. And I'm sure he wouldn't mind me mentioning this, because this is public information, right?
This real history though, right here.
Yeah,
he's pivotal in all of this. So inshallah ta'ala, soon we're gonna make that connection. We gotta have his perspective on this.
That's facts. Those brothers, see, what we were in the federal system, right? And see what the federal system used to do. Well, they probably still do it. They move people around from facility to
they still do it.
You know what I'm saying? So those brothers came from a medium security facility, and they came over to Fort Dix, to the low facility. So they brought everything that they were learning from there, they brought it to Fort Dix. And I was one of those younger ones under them to learn from them, right?
Mashallah. So you ran into Imam Muhammad during that phase. I mean, Imam Amin.
Imam Amin, I didn't meet him, but I met his students. He was on the other side of the compound.
MashaAllah.
Fort Dix has two sides, the east side and the west side. I forget, I was on the 5702 side. I forget if that's east or west. I don't remember anymore. but he was on the other side of the compound, like
SubhanAllah.
doing his thing. But we knew he was there because we had one chaplain imam, right? His name was Ibrahim Abdul Aziz, and he was very pivotal because he would let us know what was going on the other side of the compound. But not only that, Ibrahim Abdul Aziz, he was an African American brother who had studied at Azhar in the early 70s.
Very rare.
Very rare. He was a brother, had always been Sunni, had never been in the nation or whatever, and went to Azhar as a young man, and he came back to the States, right? And
MashaAllah.
and he was the chaplain. He worked for the system, but he was the chaplain and whatnot, right? So and he was where, well, along with him and other brothers on the compound, there was another brother from Afghanistan who used to big burly brother, and his name was Sayyid Agha. He snatched me up and take me, and we completed reading Surah Al-Baqarah. He would read the traditional way. He read, I read. He read, I read. Back and forth until I finished Surah Al-Baqarah, finished it with him and read it back to him. And he said, yes, I'm that you good now, right? So
that's a real ijaza.
absolutely.
That's suhbah.
No, so exactly. He would come get me. He'd be like, Muhammad, come on. He didn't speak any English, but he would know to come get me and come take me. He would make me read that Quran to him. He was very serious, but very, shadid, and what I mean, about reading. But it was a beautiful experience, and may Allah Ta'ala reward him, for what he gave me. You know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, the Prophet ﷺ said the best amongst you are those who learn how to read the Quran and teach it, and he definitely taught me free of charge. Didn't speak English, but we had one thing in common, and that was Quran al-Kareem.
Yeah, I had a few brothers that was that I met in the joint. I had that same exact experience.
Yes.
And
so
you know how they can't believe that we would be able to recite. They can't believe that. So when they see that, it's automatic. Like they bring you in.
No.
Alhamdulillah, I had that same experience in my generation.
No, this is the barakah. So the other thing that was interesting. So none of those people, everybody that I'm talking about is Sunni. None of them have any Salafi influence, or they're not Wahhabi or anything, right? Everybody is Orthodox, Hanafi. We were Hanafi, right? Sunni, Ahlul Sunnah.
Of course. Yeah, of course.
Some brothers were Shafis, but there was none of that Salafi Wahhabi influence at all, right? And so, it's funny because later on in the relationship with Sheikh Ibrahim Abdul Aziz, he was the first one that I took a bayah to, a tasawwuf bayah to, right? And it was a Chisti bayah. And come to find out that he was a person that taught a lot of the big names at that time that were promoting Salafi Dawah. It was 3 influential people. I don't know if this is the platform to mention their names, but
hey, do what you need to do.
well, I mean, it's public info. Well, Masha, it's public.
Yeah. I mean, this the history. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, it was one brother, Abu Muslima, right? And all of these brothers confirmed it, by the way, that yes, they learned from Ibrahim Abdul Aziz. Abu Muslima, Dawud Adib, and the other third one was Zayd Shakir, right? And this is before they separated and went to school. Dawud Adib and Abu Muslima went to Medina, and Zayd went to Syria. He went to I believe it's the Abu Nur school, I think it was, or before Abu Nur.
Everyone go to Abu Nur when they go to Syria.
Yeah, back then.
Back then. And then, if they go to learn Arabic, like about 2000, 99, 2000, if you had some you could read already, then and know some Nahul and Sarf, then you could you can go to Jamia Damascus.
No.
That was just for Arabic. The Jamia Damascus. That was just for Arabic. That wasn't for all of the other sciences and stuff. And Abi Nur, they was predominant. They was basically Hanafi, and they were Naqshbandi. So in the morning, after the salah, then they will have their dhikr. I mean, they'll have their dhikr, and then they, after that dhikr in the morning, after soup, then they'll break and go to their classes and stuff. I'm sorry to cut you off. I just wanted to add
no, no problem, brother. So you see that they started out together, like learning Islam from Sheikh Ibrahim Abdul Aziz, and two went to Medina, took their path, and those two, Abu Muslima and Dawood Adib, like when I went home, and Abu Muslima had the masjid in East Orange on Lincoln Street. That was before they went and bought the big armory on over there. I think it's Orrington Parkway. I think it is right there by the Garden State Parkway. Right. I remember them. The slogan back then was, let the Sunnah go forth. That's what they used to say. Let the Sunnah go forth. They used to say that off the minbar. Let the Sunnah go forth. Right. And they used to be out there with the big garbage drums collecting money out. And they round up all that money and they went and bought that armory. So that was the force of the Salafi movement back then. Like, it was carrying the swing. And the brothers, it's funny that Zayd and Abu Muslim remained friends, because I remember when Zayd came, he visited that Lincoln Street masjid and gave a talk there. The brothers didn't really like him. I was there. The brothers didn't really like him because they knew he went to Syria and he wasn't on the Salafi vibe. But because Abu Muslim and Zayd, they were colleagues.
Way back.
Yeah, they went back. He's let him come and talk, right? And so he gave a talk. So back then, on the Sunni side, the Ahl Sunnah side, I used to travel down to Philadelphia to the AICP because there was really nothing really going on too strong. Like, Ahl Sunnah at that time was very weak, right? In terms of, being vocal and being able to demarcate the lines between Salafiyah and Ahl Sunnah. Like, you had to know where to get your information from. Even as a young Hanafi also, we used to write over to Ibrahim Desai in South Africa, the magistrate.
Oh yeah, Sheikh Desai. He's still pumping and rolling hard in the joints, talking about Jumu'ahs invalid in prison.
Exactly, right. Right. So we used to have to write. That was our connection, huh?
Yeah.
That's all we had was the connection, just to write letters and get a fatwa in the mail, and that's all we had.
That's still to this day. Well, you got we call them dinosaurs. The grandfathers, they used to tell us stories that they weren't allowed to practice Islam in a joint. Like, it was illegal, and they had to go to war literally just so they can get Qurans.
Right.
And some of the only people or person that would write them back when they was in prison was Sheikh Desai. And a lot of them have a strong allegiance to Sheikh Desai, whether he made some mistakes or not. They got a real strong. They will die for the Majlis Ulama of South Africa.
Absolutely, and anytime the brothers are in that type of situation, and somebody in the outside world shows them some attention, that means a lot. A lot of times, when you hear your name at mail call, what I'm saying? What I'm talking about, right? Mail call, that's your line to the outside world. So that meant a lot to us to be able to even have that communication.
All right, but listen. Let's get more into that first narrative. Let me get Imam Muhammad in here, introduce himself, and we're gonna pick up right there where you left off, because that's getting into the narrative of that transitional period.
Okay, Barakallahu Feek.
It's all right. What's your name? Where you from? What you claim? Who your G?
اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق.
Hey, can you fix your light, Imam?
Huh?
Can you fix your lighting? It's a little dark.
Yeah, I don't have no bright lighting.
Oh, it's on the ceiling.
Yeah, it's on the ceiling.
Okay.
اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بحق وهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره مقداره العظيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما. الحمد لله رب العالمين. أفضل الصلاة وتم تسليما على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. ورضي الله تعالى عن هذا السادة التابعين علماء عاملين وأئمة 40 مجتهدين مقلديهم إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد. الحمد لله رب العالمين. I'm Imam Muhammad Abdullah Amin Al-Maliki. I'm from Chicago, but I currently living in Philadelphia. My story is a little bit not too much different from my brother Jomo, Ustad Jomo. The only difference is that when I was born during the time when Elijah Muhammad was sick, and a few years later, I think I was like 5 years old when he died, and Imam Wardine Muhammad had took over. My mother come from the Blackstone Rangers, and then later became Moorish American for a short period of time. Father come from the nation. All right, he was one of the he was part of the first before the first resurrection, quote unquote first resurrection in the early 60s, and he was a minister in the Nation of Islam. As a matter of fact, he was one of the ministers that they had a meeting about Malcolm X. He was one of the ministers present at that meeting. He said that was one of the things he regretted in his whole life, in being in that meeting, and how he felt about Malcolm X at the time. But to kickstart further, if you want to say, so I don't count that time, even though sometimes I count that time as me being Muslim, but to actually count a particular time, I would say 1985. Right,
I was 1 year
1985, and the
old.
reason 1985 is because this is when Imam Malik Kaaba had converted from Moorish Science Temple to Orthodox Sunni Islam. It was actually earlier than that, 1983, but 85 is when he made a proclamation. That's after he had turned himself in from he came back from Pakistan. I'm not going to go into that narrative, but during this time, so 1985, it was brothers from Jamaat Tabligh, one of the pioneers of the Ahlul Sunnah in Chicago. And I'm going to mention his name, because he's well known all over the world. Sheikh Omar Abu Bakr, and may Allah Ta'ala fortify him. Him and the first Ahlul Sunnah were or Sunni Islam that was in the 70s, in the late 60s and the 70s. Sheikh Dawood bin Beck, he's on my page as well. Sheikh Dawood bin Beck and a group of brothers, they used to have Juma in his house. And later on, they had Sheikh Umar Abu Bakr. He had established Masjid Dawah above his tailor shop.
He was Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah.
He was Ahlul Sunnah. Before he had started opened a Masjid Dawah, he had went on Kharuj for 1 year in America. Him and another brother. During this time, Sheikh Dawood bin Beck, he was like formulating and establishing Ahlul Sunnah in Chicago. Then the first Ahlul Sunnah Masjid opened up. Had opened up in like 1973 on 103rd in Michigan, right? It was Masjid Umar, and they had the first sheikhs to come through. It was during that time, Wahhabi influence of filtering, you know what I'm saying, material through America was going on at that time as well. But in the 80s, 85, 86, 87, the owner of Kazi bookstore, and Amir Ali on the north side. You know what I'm saying? He had a Dawah center, right? He had a Dawah center where he distributed Dawah pamphlets and everything. But you know what I'm saying, during the 80s, it was pivotal because while everywhere else in the country was going through the crack cocaine epidemic, every crack house that they tried to open up in Chicago, Imam Abdul Malik Kaba, he would send the emirs, Ikhwan members, and muftis over there and shut each one of them down. The first one opened up on the west side when it shut it down. Another one opened up on 79th in Paxton when it shut that one down. So, you know what I'm saying, crack cocaine, or what we know as crack cocaine, never hit Chicago in the 80s. They didn't start selling Ready Rock until the 90s, like 1991, 92. That's when it really got bad. That's when we're seeing the dynamics of the neighborhood change, right? So, my you know what I'm saying, my development in, like, I want to say 87, 88, I had kind of like drifted off a little bit, kind of like disconnected from my IB and everything, and I was only dealing with being with the El Rukin tribe, right? So after some time, I had connected with some brothers. I mean, and this was during the time the Ansar Law was in Chicago, right? I had connected with some brothers, and I used to go over there to their classes, and then go to. I went to Juma a couple of times on the west side. I mean, they had a property on the west side. So, after I stopped dealing with them, I was back. I had went in the street. You know what I'm saying? I was in the street for a while. That's what got into a little trouble. Did my little skit bit 8 years, and you know what I'm saying, then came home. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala connected me
Years
with
not a
my
skit, bit
teacher.
out. I'm sorry.
That is not a skit.
Not a skit, bit. Anything
That's
over
definitely a stretch.
it's not a skit, but I'm sorry.
That's definitely a
Can't let you
stretch.
go with that
You know
one.
what I'm saying? So, connected me with my teacher. You know what I'm saying? Sheikh Rami, one of my teachers. And what he
So
did
what
with
was
me.
what was it like during your stretch? What was your mentality? What was you going through? What was you seeing?
Well, you know, when I did my stretch, when I was doing my little stretch, um, the joint that I was at, me and my second wife was in that same joint. I mean, so it was co-ed, but in this joint, all of the chiefs was in this joint. You had the chiefs of the Latin kings. He was in that joint. You had the chief of one of the chiefs of the new breeds. You know what I'm saying? Of the new breeds, the black gangsters. They was in that joint. You had Larry Hoover's Rappy and right hand man that was in that joint. You know what I'm saying? Fatty. You had Minister Abdul Rahim, you know what I'm saying, Laurie Hammer, who, you know what I'm saying, of the conservative vice lords. It was in that joint. You had um Herbert Hurls well, I call him Thunder. I called him Thunder growing up, but his name was Herbert Stevens. Herbert Hill. He was one of the main 21 generals in the Black Keystone Rangers that eventually became Moorish American. You know what I'm saying? He the Four Corner Rangers. He was the main 21 for that branch of the Black Keystone Rangers. He was in that joint. And then you had Imam Amin, Allah Yahamahu, Imam Amin El Rukin, that was in that joint. Allah Yahamahu. Nah, that's correct. You know, I still you can still pull that documentary up on YouTube.
Mashallah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, which I don't mean to cut you off, but which Sheikh Rami is that?
Yeah. Which Sheikh Rami is that?
Abu
City is that
Sa'id,
our Sheikh Rami
Rami
or another
Muhammad.
Sheikh Rami?
That's right. Yeah, I know you. I think I know you. He's still living, ain't he?
Yeah, he's still living.
Yeah. I think.
Okay, so another Sheikh Rami.
I think he came through Atlanta a few years ago too.
He came through Atlanta. He came through
10 years
Atlanta a few
ago.
years ago. He was in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Yeah, that's him. That's
You know,
him.
he's from Flint, Michigan. You know what I'm saying? And
So I'm
you know,
saying
he
this
you know he
real
was
history
real.
right here, man.
He was real instrumental. You know, when Imam Zayd Shakir went to Syria, him, Sheikh Rami, Imam Zayd, Sheikh Sheikh Riyad al-Haq, all of them was the first students from the West to go to study in Syria. This was like 95.
Yeah.
This was like
I heard about,
95.
and he still, like 2 or 3 years ago, when they had the Black American Muslim Conference here, he didn't come himself, but some of his representatives came there and they brought him up. But and I remember him from years ago when I got to Atlanta too. But go ahead though. Go ahead.
So in regards to like the that's just a brief brief biography. Like now I had when I did my little skit, I was in prison doing time for one case while I was going back and forth to court fighting a double murder. And I eventually beat that, and then I came home like maybe a few months later, after after being acquitted for it. You know, so I spent like maybe a year and a half or something free, and then I caught another case. But I caught that case, and then like 6 months later, that's when BBC they had filmed us. They filmed us for the title. They told us was Planet Islam, right? It was Planet Islam, but the name of the documentary that's on that documentary that's on Facebook, the one part that they have on Facebook, the other two parts of that documentary they couldn't put it on Facebook.
Why not?
It's too bloody. I mean, it's too bloody, too radical.
SubhanAllah.
You know what I'm saying? So they filmed it, but they never
released it.
They never released it. Sheikh Rami got the footage from that. You know what I mean? So I had went back the next week. I got found guilty for a pistol case after we had filmed that, you know what I'm saying, that documentary Planet Islam, which that was actually about the documentary in America. That part of the documentary in America was actually about the Nation of Islam. That was actually about the Nation of Islam, and which it had a lot of stuff left out, but it was basically like exposing the pseudoism of the Nation of Islam into Islam. You know what I'm saying? That's why they had so many different interviews of different people. My mentor and Sahaba, Imam Rasan Tamir, they interviewed him. They interviewed a few people from Detroit, and they interviewed Imam Wardeen Muhammad and other people. You know what I'm saying? Now, mind you, in the documentary, what they showed you, that's not all of the footage that they got. It was some footage that they edited out. Like they edited out the interview that they had with me, but they only mentioned in there some of the stuff that they had got in the interview about me. And then they had edited out. They had filmed us shutting down the drug spot, and tearing the drug spot down to the ground, like bulldozing the joint. You know what I'm saying? They filmed it.
Hold up, what?
but they edited that out.
Y'all was bulldozing crack houses?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, they filmed it.
SubhanAllah. Now, mind you, this is a very similar story to what what Ustaz Jomo just told. Wouldn't no Salafis doing none of this though, right? they wasn't like on this same part of none of this history, right?
No.
During this time, and the Salafis, they deny it, but all during this time from the 80s on, from 83, 84, 85, even in the 70s, they was calling themselves Wahhabi. Even when Masjid Qadir opened up on 75th and Crandon, the El Haqqani Center, Naqshbandis, they was down the street on 75th and Luella. They used to call us Wahhabi because one, we was teaching the manhaj of the Shehu during that time. This was like 93, 94.
Oh,
we was
way back
teaching
then?
the manhaj of the Shehu. Everybody wore red fezzes and a white turban. Right? Red fez and a white turban and white thobes. You know what I'm saying? Every day. Right? So, you know what I'm saying? They was, because we didn't do they had dhikr circles every Saturday. We didn't do dhikr circles like that. We had dhikr, but it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
You follow me? So, and then none of them will actually come down. The effort that we was doing, you know what I'm saying? They didn't aid us in that, like shutting down the liquor stores, trying to stop the gang violence and the drug traffic in that neighborhood. They wasn't involved in that. A brother who was one of the brothers who was two of the brothers that was very instrumental, Sheikh Abdul Razak, Allah Yarhamahu, he used to be the muezzin at Masjid Fatir, the masjid that Muhammad Ali and Jabir Muhammad, Elijah Muhammad's son, his manager, had built from the ground up after tearing down Muhammad Ali's training gym, his boxing gym where he trained at, tore that down and built the masjid there, built Masjid Fatir. You know what I'm saying? And
hey, Imam, City Nasir said, was that on 79th and Cottage?
What, the masjid?
Yeah.
Masjid Fatir is on 47th.
Okay. I don't know where it is. I guess City from Chicago. I think City out west, I think now. You out west right now, ain't you, City? I think he's out west California now. I didn't know he was from Chicago.
Yeah, he's in California right now.
But he's from Chicago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so and
is Imam Malik? Oh, he said he's from LA. He's from LA.
But he was in Chicago for some time because Sheikh Rami helped him in his transition too.
MashaAllah.
You know what I'm saying?
Look at the connections, man.
Look at the connections in his transition.
Hey, you know what? We should if anybody knows Sheikh Rami sees this video, they should reach out to us because he's somebody I would like to bring on the podcast sometime to bring some of that history. I mean, I know he would be very beneficial to add on to what.
Inshallah, we need to find him.
No, I want to answer Imam Malik Robinson question. All right, well, he said when Imam Malik Kaaba converted to Islam, that all or most of the peace stones convert with him, and did that make up the El Rukns? I'm gonna give you a little history. After Imam Malik came home from his first bit in the federal prison, federal joint for misappropriation of funds, which I say, and many others say, that he was framed. He was the fall guy for that, because the individual that was in charge of the federal grant was head of the Woodlawn organization, the TWO, right? So they the ones who got the grant for the program, for the job program for the Stones and the East Side Disciples. When the amount of money that was spent on the program and then payroll and everything else related to the program during the time that it was going on was only $250,000. who had the other $750,000. Imam Malik didn't have it, but he was used as the fall guy, and he was also because he walked out of the he walked out of the hearing with I think it was with Congress or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They held him in contempt for that as well. You know what I'm saying? So when he came home, there was a contingency. You had brothers who was with Bull Harrison, who was one of the chiefs of the Black Keystone Rangers, Eugene Bull Harrison, and then you had brothers who was with Imam Malik. You had main 21 generals, you had main 21 officers, and you had main 21 ambassadors. Everybody who was main 21s, they had their own factions of the Black Keystone Rangers. Half of them became El Rukin. Many others that was with Eugene Bull Harrison, they stayed with him. And then there was a third group that was like running scared. I mean, they wasn't with nobody. So a lot of them, they either went with one of the two. You follow me? So, and I think when in 83, he had went on the run, and he had went to Pakistan. You know, so one of the brothers, Amir Abu Rashad, Allah Yahamahu, he was connected with the brothers that's from Jamaat Fukra that was in Chicago, and they could, you know what I'm saying, by him being a murid of Sheikh Jilani, Allah Yahamahu, in Pakistan, he had arranged for Imam Malik to go to Pakistan during that time while he was on the run. And Sheikh Jilani, Allah Yahamahu, he told him, he said, let Abu Rashad go back and lead the brothers, you know what I'm saying, your community, and you stay here, and we'll, you know what I'm saying, get strong in your deen. We'll teach you your deen. At this same time, Imam Jamil Alameen, Imam Luqman Abdullah Allah Yahamahu, Imam Mutawaf, may Allah Ta'ala fortify him, Imam Khalil, all of these brothers that was from Dar Islam movement, they used to come to the fort. We got pictures with Imam Jamil Alameen at Juma in the fort. We got pictures with Imam Mutawaf with Prince Kimani and Toomba, the first person that started like talking to the feds, you know what I'm saying, Imam Malik brother-in-law, that, you know what I'm saying, with them with them on the picture. You follow what I'm saying? So
okay, so while you got to pause, let me kind of put everything that has been said thus far in perspective for the people, because some people just got in like when you came on. So everybody, so we in the late 80s, right? Late 80s, right? With both y'all's accounts, right?
no.
Yeah, I
I
started.
you know what what Sidi Nasir said. Sidi Nasir, Marshall Qadir was on set on 79th and Kingston when I came home off my second bit. See, the thing is with the Master being on 75th and the work that Allah Ta'ala blessed us to do on 75th, dealing with the people there on 75th is different than dealing with the people on 79th Street. And it's kind of historical point from that too as well, dating back to the 70s when you had the Kingston Killers, which was from 73rd to 77th, and then you had the Kingston Raiders, which was from 83rd to like 77th, you know what I'm saying, on Kingston. You know what I'm saying? So a lot on 75th, like with, I forgot to mention, you know what I'm saying, Sheikh Kareem Muhammad. Sheikh Kareem Muhammad, he was also a police officer in New York, and he was also the one who kept the archives for the all of the archives for the stuff FBI stuff dealing with Malcolm X. It was dealing
Mm.
with the Malcolm X case. You know what I'm saying? A
He was
lot
on
of
the
the shit,
scene
you know,
as a cop.
huh?
He was
Yeah,
on the scene as a cop.
as a cop. You know what I mean? And you know, he had showed me these documents. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I was amazed at it.
Yeah.
However, to fast forward, the on 75th Street in that area, you know what I'm saying, mashallah, you know what I mean? It was the people, the neighbors, the people in the neighborhood, they loved us being there. You know what I'm saying? So when we
This was
moved to
after you came
79th
home,
Street,
right?
huh?
This is after you came home, right?
Yeah, after I came home.
Okay,
But on
okay. Let's pause
75th,
right there.
when I came home for my first bit.
All right, let's
You know
let's let's pause right there because I got both of y'all at the same point when y'all came home from y'all's first bit. What happened in the beginning? When you know y'all everybody was in the streets, like you said, the crack area hit real hard. Same thing up in Brooklyn too, right, Jomo?
Absolutely.
And then y'all seen all of the different everybody had their street ties and their street organizations or whatever, and everybody and from where y'all from, everybody came from where they came from, but there was like variant. This was all post Nation of Islam, right?
Yeah, all this was
And then
post
that's when all
Nation
the
of
different
Islam.
factions, y'all had all the
Yeah.
factions, Morris Science Temple, of course the Black Peace Stones, the Vice Lords, Jomo up there with y'all. Y'all both had said it was a Ansar Law presence. So it was
Right.
kind of so it was kind of like people was kind of grabbing on to whatever they could of Islam and was kind of figuring it out.
I can't leave out Imam Wardine Muhammad community.
Yeah.
Because it was Imam Wardine Muhammad who sent the first students to Arabia to
To
learn.
Arabia. Yeah. I heard
Right?
about
You know,
that.
it was like maybe 10 students. Some
Yeah.
students went to Jeddah, some students went to Riyadh, right, and studied. When they came when they came back, only a few of them became imams. I mean, like Jabir Muhammad's son, Imam Omar, he had studied in Jeddah. You know what I'm saying? Another Imam, I'm not gonna mention his name, I mean, but he studied in Riyadh. But when he came back, even though he didn't spark the Salafi movement stuff, but he came back with that same rhetoric, right? But he wasn't calling himself Salafi neither. This was 1991. You know what I'm saying? At that time, they were still calling themselves Wahhabi. 95, 96 is when that stuff started to get like popularized. It wasn't really full blown in Chicago yet. It was just certain people. It was just certain people that was like gravitating towards it because you had like a big Tijani, Qadri, Naqshbandi communities in Chicago, and everybody used to meet up at Masjid al-Fatir. If you needed to get in touch with anybody, you know what I'm saying, you get in touch with them at Masjid al-Fatir. When they closed down, then that's when the Al Haqqani Center opened up, Masjid Qadir, and all of these other masjids opened up during that time while they was closed for remodeling. All of
Okay,
this
all right.
is
Imam Muhammad, let me get Jomo in here. I'm gonna pick, but I got where you left off at when you came home from your first bit.
yeah.
He ended when he came home, Fort Dix. You seen Imam Amin was on the other side. You ran into his students. So now I got both of y'all at the same point. Y'all had y'all street run. Y'all did what y'all did. You know, everybody was in the streets. Y'all got saved by Islam. Y'all had y'all first bits. You going first. Tell me what you saw, and this goes into your second aspect of the narration, that transition. That was a great account from both of y'all on what y'all was seeing at the time. You know, like the different factions or whatnot post Nation of Islam, including work there, the WD Muhammad community, like Imam Muhammad just said. When you tell me, take us from that point when you was in Fort Dix, kind of just like what Imam Muhammad, he kind of gave us an account of what he was seeing on his first bit. Let us know what you was seeing on your first bit, and then when you was coming home, let it give us that era. This is the 90s. We in the 90s now, right?
We're in the 90s.
Yeah, we're in the 90s.
All right,
We
shoot
in
from
the
there again.
we,
Imam
we in
Muhammad, we're
the
gonna jump
we in the
back
mid
in where you
90s.
left off. I wrote it down so we don't forget.
Yeah, we're in the mid 90s, but
And mind you, the Salafis were not like how they are today during this time, right?
no, I
they
mean
wasn't.
what I saw. If you want to talk about that, what I saw like in '96 was the genesis of their movement, and I think everybody would agree that the Salafi movement, it flourished on the East Coast in New Jersey and Philadelphia, not even New York. Let's say New Jersey and Philadelphia, East Orange, New Jersey and Philadelphia. Those were the centers of the quote unquote Salafi movement. And like I said, the main person, there were three famous da'is to the movement, was Abu Muslima, Abu Usama, and Dawud Adib. Now, because I was incarcerated, before '96, what the history is before that amongst them, and I'm not really from their group, so I really don't know. I'm just giving you the account what I saw, coming home as a young Muslim trying to find his way on the street. I knew what I was seeing on the inside, right, with my Hanafi brothers and everything. But when I came home, I really didn't find a real community. Now, I do remember, and so one of you Maliki brothers can help me. What was the name of the Jamaat? There was a masjid in New Jersey over there on I think it's Chancellor Avenue. It's over there by Week. It might not be Chancellor Avenue. Over there on Wake Park. They were Maliki they were Maliki Jamaat, but their thing was about the dinar. You anybody remember anything about that?
You talking about Sheikh Imam Khalid Yassin,
Khalid Yassin,
Allah
right.
Yahamahu.
Right. That was, as a matter of fact, yes.
He from Jersey?
Master Beitul Khalid.
Beitul Khalid. There you go. Beitul Khalid.
There it is. Tariq gave it to us.
Beitul Khalid. Nah. So
Tariq
what happened,
gave it to us.
Look, in Newark, Beitul Khalid, where anybody who was Sunni would go to, that was like the masjid to stay away from. Like they had everybody warned against going to Beitul Khalid. Those people are innovators, and it was very bad. So like you might go there for Jumar, it might be 2 people in the spot. Right?
I mean, Amir Abdullah Yassin. I said Khalid Yassin. Amir Abdullah Yassin.
Okay, so now Khalid Yassin. He from
Not
Brooklyn,
Khalid
though,
Yassin,
right?
Amir Abdullah Yassin.
Amir Abdullah Yassin.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So which I think one of our brothers is the Imam over there, Beitul Khalid. Now I forgot the brother's name, but he's a close companion, Imam Amin, too. That brother who's the Imam there now. But yeah, so that was the one masjid. And like I said, it was weak. So trying to navigate as a young Muslim, brother Tariq Abdul Samad said we weren't. He must be from Jersey. So he's vouching with what I just said. Like
right. As I said, this real facts, real history.
Right. So as a young Muslim trying to navigate your way, it's like, and they had one other masjid that we used to go to, it's like the Travelers Masjid on Bradford Place. And everybody went there. Like it's like right in downtown Newark. The Imam there was the Egyptian Ahlul Sunnah, but that influence, that's all you used to hear in the street. Let the Sunnah go forth. Let the Sunnah go forth. Dawah to Salafiyah. Let the Sunnah go forth. That's what was making the waves back then. So it was like, where you would almost have to stay to yourself to try to maintain your Sunni identity, right? There was also back then the Naqshbandis were strong, but when we went to visit them in Manhattan and we went around them, it was like you kind of got the. It was a little weird, to be honest. They were a little. We heard some things. I was like, nah, this ain't. We knew they were Sunni, but something about how they were carrying it and what they were saying with it to South was like, nah. We not gonna go with that either. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was difficult to try to maintain your Sunni identity if you didn't have any of your own shuyukh to go to in particular. Then it was difficult. But I will say, Sheikh Nur, may Allah Ta'ala preserve him, had a
I
community of students in New Brunswick that they were students at Rutgers University. And I was fortunate enough to meet uh, Sheikh Muhammad Yaqubi when he first came to America. This was like in late 96, 1997. And I remember going there and for the first time ever meeting the real live Sheikh and listening to the story he used to tell about his father, rahimahullah ta'ala, and listen to him narrate like books like At-Tahawiyya, and that helped me fortify to let me know, like really for real, Ahlul Sunnah is alive, and we have real live shayukh that are real geniuses like Sheikh Muhammad Yaqubi. He was a young man at that time. He might have been like 20 or 21, but already like he was a master Arab grammarian. Like, I mean, everything he taught, Achi, was from off his memory. Like all the books he taught, everything was from memory. He never held a book in his hand and read a book. Right. So there was that one group down there, alhamdulillah, that Sheikh Nuhai, and they were Sunni, and we would gather and study together, alhamdulillah. So yeah, so that was part of the groups that were still striving to be Sunni at the time. Now
Okay. So, Imam Muhammad, you did your first bit. You came home. You said the Naqshbandi were everywhere.
And I said it was Naqshbandi, Tajani, Qadri, some communities in Chicago. All of us met. All of us used to
So
be
tell
at
us a little
Masjid
bit
al-Fatih.
about how they got there and that all of that. How did that
Well,
been done? Jumping out?
how in Chicago is it's a lot different. Like the I want to say like the meeting place, the Jama and Masjid al-Fatih. Everyone used to come there. It used to always stay open. Now, when they closed down, a lot of other different masjids opened up. But before that happened, before they closed down, you only had Masjid Omar in Roseland. You had Masjid Malik that closed down in '89 on 39th Street on the low end. You had Masjid Dawa on the west side, and you had Masjid Mu'min, right? That was on the southwest side, right? So you know what I'm saying. This was like the only masjids in Chicago. And then it was one masjid that had opened up that was there. They had been there since the '70s too. This was the masjid where Dr. Umar Farouk was the assistant imam at. Y'all, you familiar with Dr. Umar Farouk?
The Malik?
absolutely,
Yeah, he was
absolutely.
the assistant imam there, and the
Yeah.
imam of that
Allah.
masjid was Dawood Sheikh Dawood Salahuddin, Allah Yahama, who is from South Philly. He moved to Chicago in the '70s. I mean,
Allah.
so he had moved. Well, actually, him and Dr. Omar, they moved to Chicago. Moved to Chicago around the same time because Dr. Omar is from he's from Philly as well, or outside of Philly. I think it's Delaware County.
I
He's
ain't know
from.
that.
I mean, so and both of them, they moved around the same time. They opened up the masjid was on 101st and Halsted. It was on 101st and Halsted. That was the very them and Masjid Omar was the first Ahlul Sunnah masjids in Chicago. Sunni.
Yeah.
All right, so 90, it was 90 when I came home from that little period of time. It was even when we was doing the work on 75th Street, Imam Siraj came in like 94, you know what I'm saying, to like help us out because we had heard about the effort that Imam Siraj Wahad's community had did in Brooklyn with dealing with the gangs and we're dealing with the liquor stores and all of that stuff. You follow what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? That 94, 95 is when first time I had met Imam Siraj. You know what I'm saying? When he had came to Chicago. Him and Sheikh Rami, they had like a relationship, you know what I'm saying? They was connected together. You know what I'm saying? And then the speed up, I went back to the joint and then I was like there like 13 months. When I came home in 97, that's when Sheikh Rami gave bay'ah to Imam Jamil Alameen. You know what I'm saying? Al Ummah.
I didn't
During that particular time
What you
is
say,
when
Jomo?
the Salafi Dawah
I
had
didn't
started creeping in.
I didn't know that Sheikh Rami had bayat to Imam Jamil. I didn't know that.
Yeah. It was in fact when he gave the bay'ah to Sheikh Imam Jamil Alameen, he wrote me a letter while I was in Vienna. You know, he wrote me a letter while I was in Vienna telling me about the transition. And then, like, I think maybe 2 weeks later, he came to visit me in Vienna. You know what I'm saying? And this was like 2 or 3 weeks before I came home. You know what I'm saying? He had he had came to visit me. You know what I'm saying, while I was down there. And you know what I'm saying, he was there for a few hours and then him and his family they left. You know what I'm saying? But when I came home, then that's when this Salafi stuff started getting popular, but they still wasn't calling themselves Salafi yet. Right? They didn't start calling themselves Salafi until like in Chicago to like 99.
Yeah, they were
Because
late.
how they broke up the community when they got popular was that when Masjid Mu'min changed his name to the Masjid Taqwa, a Masjid Tawheed. At the time, the current Imam of Masjid Tawheed, that's the Imam now, he was a student of one of the head Imam that was there teaching that's from Morocco. Right? That's from Morocco. Hafid of Quran, Hafid of Hadith, you know what I'm saying? And the brother who I had mentioned that was from Imam War of the Muhammad community who had went to go study in Riyadh, he was the third Imam there. I mean, he was actually teaching as well, but neither one of them was promoting the Salafi stuff. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't until 99 they was they had got the new place on 87th and Halsted, and then that's when they was talking about what Sheikh Albani said they should call them Salafi and all. They should be Salafi and all that. I stopped praying that in. Once I seen it go that.
It was a actual like fatwa that they should stop using the name Wahhabi and start using the name Salafi.
No,
Like that
no,
was
they
a
gonna say
real movement.
they you know what I'm saying, during this time, that's when Sheikh Albani, this was before he had, I think before he got on house arrest, he had said that you should call yourself Salafi to
So all the Salafis
distinguish
don't even
yourself
know
from
that.
from the innovators. So a lot of these brothers that was going to that masjid, they came from Imam War of the Muhammad community. They came from different communities, and they was praying at this masjid. When they made that proclamation that they should be identified with being Salafi, a lot of brothers stopped coming in. At that time I lived around the corner from that masjid. I stopped going there for Fajr, and I would go all the way to 79th and Kingston to pray at the masjid that I was the wazir at. You know what I'm saying? During this time. So this was like 97. It was
So
the
now
90,
we're in the late
97, 98,
90s.
99.
Well, that was the same with you, Jomo. You kind of seen it ushered in
Yeah,
that
well,
in that era.
I saw it in '96.
Where was
Remember,
you at?
in New Jersey.
Okay.
I went to the halfway house in Newark, New Jersey. I was in Kentuck. If anybody knows anything about Newark, I was at Kentuck halfway house close to Wake Park. So that, and like I said, Newark, New Jersey, East Orange, all that's Essex County. So that's where the movement really flourished from that I know about. Like I
In
said,
Jersey,
right in New Jersey, Newark, New
not
Jersey.
Philly.
Well, Philly too, but I can't speak about Philly because I wasn't there. I know I used to hear them talking about Philly, but I know that Abu Muslima was the main one talking about Dawah to Salafiyah and let the Sunnah go forth. They used to make the shirts and everything, and then once he bought the big armory, he called it the Ahlul Sunnah Center of America. He called it the Ahlul Sunnah Center of America. I mean, that was a major play back then for them. Think about it. Like he said, before they started, they weren't really that popular before that, right? They weren't like a Siraj Wahaj. Siraj Wahaj been fighting with the place of Master Taqwa since I was a kid back in high school. I remember seeing them over there at Master Taqwa, but they never raised enough money to buy a building for themselves until just recently. I don't know how many years ago.
Hold on one second, Ustad.
Sure.
My connection, my East Coast connection just jumped on here. My big brother, Lukman. I gotta give him some recognition, man. This my brother, man. Lukman Allahumma Abdullah. We Lukman Abdullah. He called I don't put the brother business out here, but he was in Ohio, and I run into him in a joint, and that was our mere security in the joint. That's the brother Imam Muhammad. When I told you I had to run in with the Worthy Muhammad brothers, and I told you they all came to knives and they were supposed to stab old Abdul Kabir if I got up to do Jum'ah. The Worthy Muhammad's and Muhammad guys and the Salafis had got together. And they was going against us. That's the brother. Hold on, I'm gonna put him up here. That's the brother I was telling you about. He went up to the minbar, was like, "Hey, Kabir giving Jum'ah. That's how it's gonna go. Start the khutbah. Anybody jump up, I'm knocking them out. Period. Start the khutbah." He came with that with the whole New Jersey East Coast thing. I was like, I think Muslim. He was like, "Start the khutbah." Right. Hey, sorry, that's my brother I was telling you about, man. That's my brother I was telling you about. Yeah. I didn't mean to cut y'all in, but I've been trying to get, I had a lightweight connection with the brother, and he used to sit me down. I was wild, man. I was wild, and it's wild out there. And he was one of the guys that really could, I used to put my hands on dudes. He was one of the dudes that really could sit me down and be like, "Man, chill out." You know what I mean? Like fix your character. But he came from this rich culture. He a little older than me. I think he's 40. But he came from this rich culture. And that was the first time I had ever seen anything like it. And at that moment, this was probably 15 years ago. At that moment, no, about 10 years ago. At that moment, that's when I felt that all this history y'all talking about, I could feel that in him. Because at the time, down here in Ohio, we ain't got none of that going on. You know what I'm saying? They like we didn't have generations of Muslims and brothers that was Muslim, seeing Muslims when they was young. We didn't have none of that. It was just gangs and drugs. So, I really made a connection with Big Bro, and because he was a youngster up under y'all throughout all of this. But he just got on here. I just wanted to give you some recognition, man. I love you, Luke, man. I love you. Okay, my bad. Go ahead. Pick up where you was at, Jomo.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. But where was I? I forget what I was saying. I was saying that Abu Muslim was basically the course. And like I said, when he moved off of Lincoln Street and bought the armory, he named it the Ahlul Sunnah Center of America. So that really, what he was trying to do, he was trying to make that the hub for the Salafi movement. Like everybody was moving from everywhere, renting out apartment buildings, and and setting up the whole community focused on that armory that they bought and turned into the masjid.
So that
So
was a power move.
it was a big power move. I mean, he was making a major statement, and he did do it. He really did do it, And then, years down, a few years later, some brothers have broke off, and they bought the masjid. It was a bank over there on 4th Avenue in East Orange. Abu Muslima made a tape. He was calling it Masjid al-Ghuraba, like the strange masjid, like saying it was haram for them to break away from the Jamaat to buy the masjid. So he put that masjid on blast, like nobody didn't want to go over there and be seen. Oh, you going over there praying with them, those innovators, and they broke away from the Jamaat. It was a lot of controversy surrounded them and their whole movement. So, and and it went on and on and on until finally, like what Abdul Mujib just is saying, that they finally said they kicked him out the car. They said he wasn't Salafi no more, or he was off the minhaj. I should say, not he wasn't Salafi no more, but they say he was off the minhaj because they had something going on. He was trying to say that he was the Emir of the United States or whatever, and without the shuyukh, some controversy, man, and then they broke off again. But that's the constant controversy. Their whole methodology is based around controversy anyway. So that's what happened. That's what wound up happening to him.
So during that time, what was you seeing, Imam Muhammad, and where was you at?
During that time, I was in Chicago.
Oh, you still in the shot. You was still in Iraq.
I was still in Chicago. Yeah, I was still in Chirac. Or
right,
what they,
right.
or
You
what they
still
want
in
to
Iraq.
call it. I mean,
did you hear about that? Did y'all have a similar kind of takeover and infiltration? Did y'all have a similar type?
When they the first real type of takeover that they tried in Chicago it was like after 9/11. It was like after they had like gained momentum. They came to Masjid al-Qadir. I had just stepped down from being the imam the year before, right? The year before this took place, and it was some brothers came with a brother brought some brothers through there, and I think they prayed, and then they looked on the bookshelf. They took the books, right?
What?
They took the books, and they took all of the Imam Ghazali books except for book 1, right? And they left a message. They took the Hayatul Sahaba. They took a couple of collections of this hadith collection. I forgot the name of Allah. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. I forgot the name of it, but that what happened is that they had left a note. I mean, these guys, I don't know what's wrong with them. They left a note talking about these books of innovation, and they have shirk and bid'ah in it and all this type of stuff. And we took the rest of the collections. So then I had found out from investigating who it was. They came in there and did that. Now in Chicago, even though we were Muslim, but in Chicago there's a bit of a culture there. If you pull a move like that and you don't do anything about it, you just open the door for anybody and everybody.
You sweet after that.
Right?
Sweet.
Come at you. So what I had did when we found out who it was, first we found out who brought him there. So then the person who brought him there, I kind of like mentored him before he went to that Salafi stuff. So me and a couple of brothers, we got our weight up. We went and seen him first. We went and seen him first. It was like, I think it was like 12:31 in the morning then. Went and seen him first. And I hollered at him where he was living at. I had an apartment in there too. I still, I still live there too. So I came in We went to his apartment. He told us where these brothers came from, and if the books was there. So they had threw away some of the books, and they had like maybe one book there. So then when we found out where these brothers came from, we went to Masjid Tawheed from the Salafi Masjid. You know what I'm saying? We went there. It was like 2 in the morning at this time. Knocked 2 in the morning at this time. Knocked on the door. It was a couple of brothers that was living there. You know, so staying there upstairs. One of the brothers was on house arrest there from the joint. That's from fault. He was from Ace Rack. He was from Rack City, right? He was from Ace Racketeer City, and he was an Indian brother, Indo-Pak brother, who his family disowned him when he became Salafi. He was in school. He was in in his internship, his residency as a doctor. You know what I'm saying? And then there was another brother. So, you know, so we came there. A brother let us in. You know, like we talked to my man, what's up with these books? Y'all came to Masjid al-Qadir, you know what I'm saying, taking books like y'all getting ready to try to do a Salafi takeover, like it's in Philadelphia. You know what I'm saying? And one of the brothers, he was like, look, where them books at? You know what I'm saying? Either come up with them books or that money. You know what I'm saying? So the brother got to talk and flip it. My brother, he had asked him what a book, either give him books or that money. He popped it. He broke the shotgun out, jacked it, and bust the brother lips with bust the brother teeth open with the shotgun. Like, either you gonna come up with that money or you gonna get these books. And I was like, man, we Muslim. We can't, you know, so we can't do that. They don't want to go there. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to go there. You know, it's clear that they shook. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, look, you know what I mean? Just come up with that money. You know what I'm saying? Here's the imam's number, and it's the number to the masjid, and here's my number. Whatever you come up with, you know what I'm saying? Contact me or contact the imam, or, you know what I'm saying, someone will be at the masjid. So when that happened, news by Chicago being so big, news spread fast, right? News spread fast. Even during this time, there was never no debates or pushing creed. There was never no pushing the creed. It was always an issue with following the method in Chicago. It was you had some brothers who would like try to have discussions about creed, but then, you know what I'm saying, you have brothers who was educated that knew, even though that they didn't shotgun, son. You know, want nobody playing like that in the shot, man. You know what I'm saying? Not that's, you know, that dudes like live and breathe for gang banging. I mean, they wake up in the morning, what GDs I can kill today. You know what I'm saying? So it was like that. A lot of dudes that accepted Islam, they still kept their gang ties. You know what I mean? They still kept their gang ties. And, you know, some of these guys, they was like in positions where if something was to jump off, they can pull like 100 guys, 500 guys, 1,000 guys from their street tribe.
So yeah, you know, so it was real organized up there, because of the gangs.
Yeah, like even the incident that we had on 79th and Kingston, when a year after I came home, we had a shootout with the Stones. You know what I'm saying? The next night, that later on that night, we had to defuse it, because if not, it would have been like a civil war, because my family, you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, Stones, and they heard that I was out there shooting. You follow what I'm saying? So it was like, man, they done made this man come out of his trying to be righteousness. You know what I'm saying? To shoot out in broad daylight. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we had to defuse it right away.
Did y'all have that same situation when you was in Jersey, Ustaz Jomo? Like, did
the used to live in
was there a street connection? Huh?
The brother Lukman El Mu'min Abdullah used to live in Robbins.
Yeah, that's what he said. He used to live all over the place. He take his show on the road. He like you. He take his show on the road.
Yeah, I used to have a flea market booth in Robbins.
Mashallah.
Robbins, Illinois, and one in Alsa. My main one was in Alsa.
So what was it? What was it similar? So piggyback riding Ustaz Jomo off of what Imam Muhammad just said. Just like he said, like they had guys that had their allegiance to whatever faction of Islam that they belonged to, also to where they came from. Did you see that in Jersey at the time?
No, because like I told you, in Jersey, Ahlul Sunnah was basically weak, right? Now, I heard of some incidents down in Philly, like with the AICP brothers and the Salafis down there. But because, I'm not from Philly, I wasn't on the set down there. But I have heard some things, like from being, in the spot, where brothers from Philly told me that they have put, hits on brothers and, incidents like that in Philadelphia, like, down in South Jersey and in Philadelphia. But up in New York and New Jersey, I don't know of any personally myself.
Okay, so both y'all just gave eyewitness accounts that when these characters came on the scene, it was fitting.
Absolutely. Yeah, there was some. It was fitna, and I'm gonna tell you where I saw where it was going down. That was in the penitentiaries. The Ahlul Sunnah and Salafis. It was heated.
It still is.
And it was heated. You know what I mean? In the penitentiaries, and it's some of it might have spilled over the street, but in the penitentiary, you can't go nowhere.
Yeah, you gotta catch that smoke. You gotta catch that smoke.
Either you gonna do something or you ain't. You know what I'm saying?
So let me transition the conversation. Up until this point, y'all done established everybody, at least in the black community, everybody was in the streets. Nation of Islam during y'all's generation, Nation of Islam phased out. Like Imam Muhammad said, Elijah Poole had just died right when he was coming on the scene, and then the War of Deen Muhammad kind of, that thing kind of popped off. We had all the different factions of Islam, the Moorish Science Temple, Ansarullah, and a few other factions I can't think off the top of my head that y'all mentioned. So the brothers from the hood, from the community, from the culture was just kind of grabbing on to remnants of Islam, whatever we had and whatever we could and where we could. And then in the early 90s, there was from both of y'all's accounts, Imam Abu Muhammad up north, and then you, Ustaz Jomo, out east, kind of north, but more east than north. Our Hindu Pak brothers came in real hard and real tough and real strong with our Tasawwuf movement, and y'all instantly kind of gravitated towards that, even though all the other factions were still at play. Then fast forward from that, everybody was still learning, whatever, y'all caught a couple more bids and still was kind of figuring everything out. Then boom, take us to that point when because we're talking about the Aqeedah Wars. So from the roots and from the foundation, these guys were never on the scene. And then they blasted onto the scene. Ustaz Jomo, you kind of mentioned that some brothers got sent overseas. They got sent overseas, and then they came back. We was having our admin group was having this private conversation. I really wish I caught that conversation because we were kind of, y'all was hitting everything right on the head. Tell us about this the question I'm posing to both of y'all, and y'all can decide who goes first. And we running short on time too. We got like a half hour left. We're gonna have to make a part 2 to this, man. And we gotta get Amir Khalil Abdullahi on here because he's one of the dinosaurs, and definitely Imam Malik, inshallah. They had to work. Both of them had to work tonight. So, but take us to that point when and tell us what y'all believe as to why minorities gravitated towards this Salafi. I don't want to say dawah, but this Salafi thing. Why? Because we're in the aftermath of it now. Y'all lived to see when the bomb first went off. Because it sounded like y'all said when in both areas of the country that y'all was at, they came on the scene aggressive with the fitna and didn't even give anybody. They call it Salafi dawah. They didn't even give nobody dawah. According to y'all, what y'all said, they came in there like, nah, this is what it is. He on the men's high. He ain't on the men's highs. We taking these books. They came on the scene like that. So tell us why y'all think brothers gravitated towards that. Whichever one of y'all want to go first.
I mean, I can chime in. If you listen to what I said and what Imam Muhammad said, there's a common thread, and hopefully the viewers picked up on it. There's a common thread from all of the people that were the top heads of the movement. And the common thread is that they all went to school in Saudi. Right? Now remember,
so it was sponsored.
Basically. Thank you. That's what happened. Everybody.
So it wasn't organic. Brothers wasn't studying and then became enlightened. It was sponsored.
What they used to do, what they used to do from Saudi, they used to send people over here to the masajid and recruit people. They recruit the young brothers and sponsor them to go to school.
They had recruiters?
Yes, they used to go to the masjid, sit down, set up in the masjid. But now I'm gonna tell you, look, and I was one of those that might have went, right? But I heard one of the brothers say, I won't mention who said what I'm getting ready to say now, but it was one of those three that we talked about earlier that I mentioned. He was giving a talk one night and he was talking about making sure you have enough money to be over there, right? And that's the worst thing. I mean, it is a reality, but for a student of knowledge, that shouldn't be your focus. Your focus should be to go over and to take knowledge and to learn, because the one who sets out to seek knowledge in the way of Allah Ta'ala will provide for him. Right? You shouldn't be worrying, I gotta have 20 racks before I go over there to go learn. No, because guess what? You don't know if you try to save 20 racks, you don't know if you're ever going to save the 20 racks or not. You don't know.
That's profound.
Right? You don't know if Allah's going to open the door for you to get that, but you may have the opportunity to get over there, right, to learn. But when somebody has the intention to go and somebody waters it down and puts something else in your mind, then you got to wonder, like, what's the intention? Why would somebody advise somebody in that way who's a real student of knowledge? But anyway, so the point is that the Saudis funded the brothers to go over there to go learn, and when they went over versus the Ahl Sunnah group, where you had to, if you weren't somebody that had money already, if you didn't come from like a middle-class family and you had people backing you, you couldn't go to Syria on your own. Who's going to pay for you to do it, to learn Sunni Islam? That's where everybody was going, to Abu Nur, basically. Who's going to do it? Even stories like, Hamza Yusuf and all the brothers who went to Mauritania in the beginning, they had to find their way. They had to struggle. Nobody was sponsoring them like how they still do the brothers going to Medina. They pay for your school and board. They pay, they give you money for food. They give you a stipend, pay for your plane tickets. If you have a family, they may even sponsor your family too, right? So that is how our our people when they got the education and they came back to the community and they gave it to the community versus that's what happened. And our brothers, and even it's like that till right now, even with the Sunni community. This is one of
This
our
was Solly was
problems.
talking about yesterday when he said we dropped the ball.
Yeah, well, it's been our problem. Like years ago, which we got better from back then when I was younger, we had a problem with getting books, Sunni books. Nobody was publishing Sunni books. The only person who the best book that came out, the best a book that came out back then was from Sheikh Nur, which
and that was and that's just his notes.
right.
That's not the whole. That's not the whole Umdat the Solid. Them his notes from Umdat the Solid.
Right. So that was so.
Okay, hold up. We got a special guest, y'all. You get on this next, Imam Muhammad. We got a special guest. So there's another elder brother. He's Salafi. He's a friend of mine though. He down here. He's Salafi. He from up there. He from Detroit. It'd be lovely to have this brother on the show, because he's me and him talk all the time. We haggle each other, we cool. You know what I mean? We don't let it get personal. It can even get heated. We don't let it get personal. He's chiming in. Respond to this right here on the screen, y'all. Matter of fact, my mama, Ustaz Jomo just spoke. So before you capitalize on the question, respond to it because I really would like to have this brother on the platform to kind of give his and that perspective because he's been selling for over 30 years.
This is a statement.
Okay, well, respond to the statement.
The statement, he said the Saudi government sent recruiters to the masjid for those who wanted to study in the university, a free BA or BS degree from the university. All right, now, for me to actually give this justice, I would actually have to give a little bit of historical account, which I was going to touch on. All right, and this historical account, it actually starts pre-19th century, 20th century.
You did talk about that,
right? It starts pre that. It's actually pre-Civil War, actually. But to push forward in the late 1800s, Napoleon was trying to push for state of Israel. A little bit late, they banged him up. In the early 19th century, the British orchestrated the founders of the Zionist movement to push for a state of Israel. During this time, they orchestrated World War I. The purpose of World War I was to remove all of the previous empires and make them secular states. During this particular time, along with the Ahmadiyya movement that was here in the 1800s to present time, 1903, the establishment of Moorish Science Temple of America, Marcus Garvey movement with a Muslim, Deuce Muhammad Ali, was working with him. During this same time, they working on dismantling the caliphate. While they dismantling the caliphate and setting up their satellites in the Muslim world, in America, they spreading misguidance. You follow me? Spreading misguidance.
As a part of that conspiracy.
In 1917, when Sheikhul Islam of America, Sajid Abdul Majid, he was debating the Timothy Drew, Noble Drew Ali, and the Moorish Science Temple. He was debating them. He was Al Azhari. He had went to Al Azhar to get a fatwa from the ulama there. At that time, they cut off the borders. They had cut off the borders for the immigrants or the Jews to go, the Jewish immigrants to immigrate from America to the new Jew, to them establishing the Jewish state. They cut off the borders from any immigrants coming into America. So Sajid Abdul-Majid, he got caught up in that. At that particular time, the Nation of Islam was founded in the 1930s. Fast forward, Saudi has always been involved in distributing funds or distributing information in America
to prop up their
exactly
conspiracy empire.
And this is where a lot of people say that Elijah Muhammad had took Shahada or died with Shahada. In the 1950s, he sent Imam Wardin Muhammad and Akbar Muhammad, his youngest son, Allah Yahamahu, to Al-Azhar to study Arabic, right? In 1959 was when Akbar came home for a break. It was Elijah Muhammad, Jabal Muhammad, Akbar Muhammad, and Daniel Kareem. In 1959, they was invited to Saudi. They was going to donate $18 million to the Nation of Islam.
I heard about that.
In 1959, the representatives of the king, met him in the courtyard of the Kaaba. They asked Elijah Muhammad, did you believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as they believed in him, right? Did he believe in Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? He answered yes to both questions. They said, okay, we're going to announce, you got to come to this banquet tonight. We're going to announce that we're going to give you this $18 million. All right. They went to the banquet. While they were sitting at the banquet table, a blonde-haired, blue-eyed Arab sat directly across from Elijah Muhammad. And he said, man, lo and behold, they got the devil sitting right amongst us. When he said that, Jabal Muhammad had told me, he said, man, I looked at my father and I said, he really believed what he's teaching. Shortly after that, he came out with the Muslim prayer book. The prayer times.
So he started working it
everything.
In. He started working it in.
Started working this night. Now this 1960. He came out with the Muslim prayer book. I remember seeing this prayer book when I was young, right? So I knew it existed. One particular morning, this was like later, we was praying at the Masala that they had at IIT, and Nathaniel Muhammad, one of Jabal Muhammad's older sons, he had came to Salatul Fajr, and what did he have with him? The Muslim prayer book that his father wrote.
So we got paid sponsorship all the way around the board.
All the way around the board. So when they made that transition, that's why it was so easy for a lot of them to convert and maneuver in to that program. Imam Wardin Muhammad still kept it going. They still kept it going. Arranged for students to go study in Saudi. You gotta ask yourself this: why is it that every year at Hajj, the Saudi government invites Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam to Hajj and Umrah? They always had a relationship with them.
Do they? That happens?
Yeah. They always have a relationship with them. Tell me why
y'all think they needed
back up in 1980.
Why do you think they needed? Because I always suspected that this was sponsored. Because when you actually get to the meat on the bone, if you're a serious, I say it all the time, if you're a serious student, you will never be a Salafi. If you're a serious student. So nobody was having, y'all had eyewitness accounts. Y'all went through all this stuff, street stuff, different factions, the whole nine. Y'all went through jihad and found the Sunnah. Y'all went through jihad and didn't find the Salafi Minhaj. And both of y'all account from major cities, pivotal cities. Pivotal cities. Everybody know about New Jersey and the Nation of Islam. Everybody know about Chicago, the headquarters of Black Islam in America all together. So to have both of y'all on here right now, giving these accounts is kind of heavy because we don't know what happened. All we know, we just like the YGs to the Bloods and the Crips to the OG Bloods and the Crips. We don't even know why they was banging. I just know I'm red over here, they blue over here, and that's what it is. That's kind of what we got going on now with the Madhabi and Salafi thing. So for both of y'all didn't know each other. Y'all in two different parts of the world. Y'all meeting different people from all over the world. Same thing happening at the same time. Account that it was sponsorship that ushered this disease. Please forgive me if this not directed towards you, Malik Mom. You're my guy. You my guy. This that ushered this thing into our community. It was sponsored. Like you took it from the whole Jomo, you took it from the whole they had recruiters. Imam Muhammad, you took it a little deeper than that and said that they attacked, if you will, our leadership and the black leadership. And the black leadership at that time, as we know, that was corrupted. He took that deal and okay, so from that point, what was going, what did y'all, okay, so y'all realize that, y'all see the recruiters, y'all see the recruiting. How was Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah, at least in the black, matter of fact, speak on from all perspectives. How did y'all handle that?
Well, I think over the years, Allah Ta'ala has been strengthening us by more and more people from all walks of life and all races and right have been doing what you just said, have been educating themselves, right? I will say that before I go on though, me and Imam Muhammad, even though we never met back then, we do have some people that are in common, right, with each other, like in particular Sheikh Noor, right? I used to talk to Sheikh Noor years ago on the telephone. We used to talk back and forth. And Imam Muhammad can tell you about his relationship with Sheikh Noor as well. And also I want to mention about the African American Islamic experience in New York. There's some brothers that are older than me that can add on, like, because I'm young, like compared to, like, for example, Imam Siraj Wahaj, right? He is Imam. A lot of people don't know it, but Imam Siraj Wahaj was a minister in the nation in New York. In New York,
Yeah.
Like he had to check me one time because remember earlier when I told you I used to go to the temple up on Utica Avenue, right? I saw him here like about 2-3 years ago at the African American Muslim conference, and he had mentioned something about temple number 7, and I went up to him and I said, "Yeah, I used to go there on Utica and Eastern Parkway." He was like, that's not temple number 7. I was like, "What you talking about?" I went down. He was like, he had to put his arm around me and it basically had to tell me, like, calm down, like, young buck. Let me explain to you what's really going on. But at the end of the story, what he was saying was, at the time that when I was going there, that was under Louis Farrakhan. So, which I know is true. Those brothers who left from the so-called first resurrection and went to Sunni Islam, they don't recognize the Nation of Islam as being anymore. After Elijah Muhammad and Wardi Muhammad took over, that was the end of it to them. So they don't even recognize, like, that temple that I used to go to. He didn't even recognize it. He was talking about the original Temple Number 7 in Brooklyn on Bedford Avenue. You follow what I'm saying? So I think it's called Masjid Khalifa now, right? That's what he was referring to. So there's a little gap there that I can't speak about because I didn't follow. I was that part of Sunni Islam. I wasn't part of, right? But yeah, so the thing is that over the years, more and more as we have become educated, more and more brothers went to other parts of the world like Egypt, Lebanon, Turkey, Mauritania was big, right? Brothers started going, and so now, and we started, some more money started to come in, from Sunni sources, and we have brothers that's donating and publishing books. So now we see Al Sunnah is becoming stronger and stronger. And this is the work. This is why we on here tonight, right? We can now say we gave that long history, but if you don't mind, let's talk about where we at today and why we doing what we're doing today,
Yeah,
right?
that was the
Right,
last stipulation in the narrative.
right.
Imam Muhammad, respond to that before
No,
we move to the last part of that and get to some
okay.
questions and comments and
Sure,
close
sure,
up, inshallah.
sure. All right.
How
Go
did
ahead.
y'all handle that wave when both y'all witnessed it? Y'all witnessed the sponsorship. How did y'all pivot that wave before it became the explosion it is today, which is
Well,
the last
well,
thing we're gonna talk about?
well. One thing I have to mention is that during this whole time and ordeal, at Masjid Qadir, we had a program. See, Sheikh Rami, he had like the vision that he had, that he trained everyone to be imams, right? So if someone was to come in the masjid and say who's the imam, his vision was that everybody would raise their hand. The way that he trained us, everyone was able to teach Arabic. Everyone read the Quran. Everyone could go over, basic fiqh books in each method, Hanafi, Shafi, Maliki, right? Um, what he did is that he incorporated the Arabic program. You know what I'm saying? And his program, he had the Indo-Pak Shekel Hand method, and he had the Jamia Damascus Syria method, right? So the whole time of us doing work, he was also focused on teaching, right? Focused on teaching while he was developing and while he was developing everyone's strength. You follow what I'm saying? Cultivating everyone's abilities. You know what I'm saying? So when this stuff really blew, everyone that was under his tutelage, they wavered through it. So it was like a effort. Everyone who was close to you, it was you grabbed them by the coattail. You know what I'm saying? You grab them by the coattail, you cultivate. Like when the night I had met Ubaydullah Evans, who stayed Ubaydullah Evans and my other Sahaba, you know what I'm saying, which was his Sahaba that he grew up with when they were 16 years old. You know what I'm saying? Our first encounter is that, you know what I'm saying, I started like critiquing them, you know what I'm saying, getting them prepared. That's what the first excitement of wanting to study, you know what I mean, he got. You follow what I'm saying? Both of them, as a matter of fact. So reaching these brothers, young brothers who was at that time was the youth, they reached out to others. You follow what I'm saying? Because they didn't live in Chicago. They lived in the suburbs. They lived in South Highland and University Park. You follow what I'm saying? They used to just come in the city and hustle. You
Hmm.
follow me? So
Yeah.
this during that time, all this stuff going on around, like I said originally, in Chicago, it was never really about creed. It was, it was always about following the method. You know what I'm saying? So you had like We didn't have nobody going around. Wasn't no Muslims going around asking Muslims where's the law and all this type of stuff. Wasn't none of that stuff going on. You know what I mean?
I had my Sheikh Rami. He said the same thing to me. He said it's funny now that we having this whole Aqeedah discussion. He said in the 90s, Ahlul Sunnah had to annihilate them because their argument was following the madhab and blind following and so forth. And when I was in a joint, we had outdated books and stuff. So all of the Salafi material was all built off following the madhab. So my defense has always been in the legitimacy of following the madhab. Y'all have really been helping me learn the whole Aqeedah thing. So I can well, as far as in contrast, I can corroborate what you just said.
Nah, and also during this time too, they was Imam Wardin Muhammad community was promoting Imam Wardin Muhammad being the Imam of the fifth method.
They believe that. They believe that
came from that is the Qawari, the Quraniyun came from that because they was like combating and debating with the Wahhabis there. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Well, so wrapping up, and then we're gonna get to some of these comments. Malik, I see we're gonna give Malik a chance to respond. He always be busy, so it'd be hard. I done gave him a few invitations to come on here. Inshallah. He's good, he's a friend of mine, so we can get some perspective, you know what I'm saying? We give him a chance to give his response to what was said. We respond to a lot of these comments. There's a lot of comments in here. So inshallah, wrapping up. And the sister, Sister Malika, I think her name is Malika Muhammad. She had asked this question. That was the first question. So we're gonna kind of answer her question in the wrap up of this aspect of the conversation. Where we are now, and what do we do about this now? So in context, we got this big divide.
What's the solution?
Yeah, we have this huge divide. And if anybody has been part of this group for the last year, I just started ramping it up because I have more time now. But it was called initially a discussion between Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah and the Salafiyah. So that is always our intent. We are trying to end this war. It's pivotal. It's not pivotal. It's essential that we end this war. I believe since the Americans are leading this show, in particular, Black Americans are leading this show. I believe once we can ascertain the haqq about all of this, that we could end this war. Even like you said, that Saudi then reached all the way over here and tried to get us involved and got us involved in it. Now we in it. Now we here. Maybe inshallah ta'ala we could topple that, what they got going on over there, by consolidating here. It is imperative that we do that because matter of fact, remember when we was all on the phone for like 4 hours that day, all of us at work yelling. Everybody, like it's like 7 of us on the phone. We was all yelling and screaming. That's how passionate we are about this conversation. And we all agree. We all have varying viewpoints, but we all agree at the end of the day, we have to consolidate in our minority communities in order for us to deal with the real and actual issues. All the stuff everybody complain about, the baby daddy, baby mama drama, high drug rate and high drug rates, usage in the community, prostitution in the community, the murder rate, the violence, the domestic violence, all these issues. We can't even begin to touch this stuff. The community is burning down. We cannot begin to touch this stuff until we clean house. Because at the end of the day, I got friends and family that respect the way I move because of Islam. And I don't have, y'all do, to a certain extent. we don't have a masjid that we can come to where these issues in our community can be heard, and we can have sit downs, and we can give hidayah, we can give the guidance, and then people can latch on to that, and we can become better individually, and then we become strong collectively. We have to deal with our own issues in our minority communities. It has to be minority leaders. Right now, our leaders are at war, which now the followers are at war. It's a sad song that we all, like I always said, Philly, Jersey, New York, all that, Chicago. It's beautiful to see Black and Latino Muslims, Niqab, Kufis, Thobes. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. But we pronouncing, it's not us. The Salafi brothers and sisters are pronouncing takfir on us. We can't be your brother. We can't be your sister. We are divided because of this. You don't see the Ahl Madahib pronouncing takfir. It's actually haram amongst all of the Ahl Madahib to say even a person is a kafir. If a person comes to us, as far as the Maliki madhab goes, Imam Muhammad, correct me if I'm wrong. If a person comes to us and says kufr, we got to give them an excuse, correct?
Well, if they say something that's kufr,
yes, we got to check their temperature, right? Like, are you okay? Are you crazy? Do you know what you're saying? You know,
yeah,
we got to do that.
We have to verify.
And then after that, if it's verified, we got to give them a chance to make tawbah, right? Give them hidayah and then tawbah, right?
Yeah.
Is it like that in the Hanbali school?
Huh?
Ustaz Jomo, is it like that in Hanbali school?
And with the Hanabila, we really very careful about pronouncing takfir on people.
It's like, a hadith. They say Quran and Sunnah. It's a clear hadith. That person who calls a person a kafir, then one of the two of them is a kafir. That's it.
Exactly.
There's no tafsir to that. There is no tafsir to that hadith. That's what it is. We're in trouble. So what? So the solution is this initiative. What we doing? I know a lot of our contemporaries don't want to talk to them. we trying to talk to them. We trying to talk to y'all. We trying to. That's why we came up with this initiative about the history. Because y'all know I jumped into it. I jumped into a sea of it, and I'm just swinging swords everywhere. And y'all, alhamdulillah, y'all cared enough to grab me up. Y'all cared enough to grab me up, just like my OG Lukeman did in the joint. Like, hold up. Like this, not like that, like this. And y'all started dialogue. We all started dialoguing. And y'all gave the history and the rundown. Y'all give that to us continuously, mostly me and Solly, because we the ones out here be smoking it up. But y'all gave that history and showed us that we all live together. Y'all came up with a lot of these dudes. Y'all been alongside of a lot of these dudes and these brothers. And like you said, Ustaz Jomo, in the beginning of the program, y'all all started out together. And then, according to y'all view, the sponsorship came in, and we have what we have today. Going forward, the OGs, and y'all can speak for other OGs around the country, because y'all all cool, y'all all come from the same cloth, y'all all come from the same era for the most part. And y'all talk amongst yourselves, y'all got your own group of OGs that y'all rap with and kick it with and whatnot. How do we solve this? And we all know it's not through takfir, right?
No, that's definitely not the answer. That's not
one thing that we have to keep in the forefront is that all of us are Muslim, and in order to actually sincerely wish good for someone, you got to have some love and some concern there. If you don't have any love or concern there, then whose sunnah are you following? Whose sunnah are you practicing? Because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he had a concern for all of the mankind. He had a concern for all of the mankind. He had fickle for everyone. You know what I'm saying? That he didn't want to see even anyone during his time that he saw that Islam didn't reach. He felt sad when he saw the funeral procession walking past. So this is the same type of concern that we have. And in regards to our brothers, you know what I'm saying, we have to have sincere dialogue with them, not debates, because you're not going to get anywhere with debates and argumentation. And you have to make dua for each other too, and it has to be sincere. You follow me? So if you sincerely making dua for someone, Allah Ta'ala, to guide someone, right, and to guide you, there has to be some mutual concern, mutual love for that individual. This can't be an individual that you hate and expect that your dua may be answered for them to get guidance. How? And you hate them. I mean, you don't have any concern for them if you hate them. If they, you know what I'm saying, if they look at you as an enemy and you don't look at them as an enemy, but you making dua for them, the war is not physical. It's on
Intellectual.
it's on bayan.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's what the war is on. It's not really a physical war. It's a war of ideas and ideology. You follow what I'm saying? A war of ideology. So we have to like we have to like give not give them the benefit of the doubt, but give them the opportunity to explain their position. Some of them don't believe a lot of that stuff that they're parakeeting and learning in books, in these glossy books. Just like a lot of people now in the Nation of Islam don't believe that stuff that they teaching from point 12. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them don't. You know what I'm saying? Influx in the 2000s, a lot of them was leaving the Nation of Islam, going to masjids that they thought was Sunni. You follow what I'm saying?
So it was their job.
Yeah, so you know we have, you know what I'm saying, the solution is that we have to do dialogue, but with the proper adab, with manners, and make dua for each other, and you know what I'm saying, not and be concerned with brotherhood, because at the end of the day, even if you have disagreement, that doesn't mean that their creed gonna change. Their creed may never change. They may die on that. But at the same time, always leaving an arm open to welcome them. You know what I'm saying? This is a better approach than to, you know what I'm saying, come at them hardcore. I mean, not, you know what I'm saying, not being soft, but being welcoming. Because I'm gonna tell you, even though none of us really pay any attention to this, the non-Muslims that know something about Islam, or they got family that's Muslims, they paying attention. They looking at this stuff. They paying attention to this stuff. You know what I'm saying? One of the, when I used to go out with Jamaat Tabligh, one of the things that they used to defend in regards to reminding the Muslims is that first we got to clean our house up. We got to put out the fire that's burning down our house. You follow me? So they use that blueprint of all of them Muslims that's in them jungles, that's been Christianized in India and Pakistan, going up in them jungles and pulling them Muslims out, inviting them back to the deen, inviting them back to the masjid. You follow what I'm saying? So you know what I'm saying? That's the type of concern and approach that we have to have with our brothers. You follow what I'm saying? We have to have that approach. And when Allah Ta'ala guides the non-Muslims, Allah Ta'ala ain't guiding the non-Muslims off of the actions of the Muslims. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of us out here foul. A lot of us out here foul. And it's a lot of us out here trying to do the right thing too, trying to practice the deen. You follow what I'm saying? So you know, we have to You know what I'm saying? We have to have some patience and some forbearance, and we have to, you know what I'm saying, keep our hearts pure and having a good hosnul dun instead of suhul dun, having a good opinion of our brothers instead of an evil opinion. That you know what I'm saying? We understand, we see the divide. Now it's time to cultivate and galvanize and try to mend, you know what I'm saying, mend it. You know what I'm saying? Mend it. You ain't gonna reach everybody. But those that we do reach, alhamdulillah. Even if it come to a point to where it's okay, we're brothers. We're just, you know what I'm saying, we just believe that y'all misguided. Y'all believe that we misguided, but we're still Muslim. You follow what I'm saying? We're not calling each other kafir.
Yeah, that's big. I had a Salafi inbox me and tell me that no Muslim could come to my funeral, and that I can't be buried in a Muslim cemetery. This is big. Now he just put me out of Islam, and according to the established fiqh of all of the four schools, which is the only fiqh that exists right now to this day, what is it? The only thing that takes you out of Islam is what?
Denying what brought you in.
That what brought you in. Ain't nobody got no evidence of me saying that I ain't a Muslim no more. So this is how sloppy it has gotten, to where they say Quran Sunnah, Quran Sunnah, Quran Sunnah, but they are so quick to rush that takfir thing. Ain't nobody on this planet Earth alive today of all 7 billion people got a statement of Abdul Kabir Muhammad al-Maliki saying, I am not a Muslim no more. Now, I don't even like to say those words, but nobody got the statement. So just think about the game that is being played. Look what Rasulullah said. The person who calls a person a kafir, then that person who somebody definitely is a kafir. That is not hayah. That is not taqwa. That's the stuff we should be focusing on, and not the quarreling and finding refutation and all of this stuff. We should be focused on doing the things of brotherhood, and we'll find that understanding of the Sunnah to where we believe. Okay, sorry, I just got I don't know why. The one of the streaming things, but hold up. Got a technical difficulty. Okay, yeah. So we'll want, you know, with sincerity, we can all come together and we'll situate ourselves on that understanding that, okay, we don't do takfir. And I even asked my sheikh, all of my shuyukh, every last one of them said, if a person says X, Y, and Z, then they need to check their Islam. Never once did they say, kafir, this person, go inside the village, put them out of Islam, warn against, none of that. So we can see where the aggression coming from. Like y'all said, y'all was on the scene with the development of all of this. And the first thing, both of y'all, and wallahi ta'ala, we did not set that up, correct?
What's that?
That both y'all saw that aggression and that warn against him. And like you said, Imam Muhammad, they came and took the books up out of there. Oh, no. We didn't set that up, right?
No. I'm talking, I don't have a script in front of me. I'm just talking from my memory.
No. I'm talking from my memory.
So exactly. this is a problem. So let's get to some of these comments. Let's get a brother Matic, because he's the only. I appreciate you, Matic, being the only representative of the Salafis to come on here and speak, because they won't talk to us. And when they do want to talk to us, they want to fight with us. We don't want to fight. We want to discuss. So
you do know, Abdul Kabir, that there's different groups of the Salafis too now. Not all of them go to the extremes like some other. I mean, and they have to fight amongst themselves too. So, you know, we should keep that in mind when we speak about them, because not all of them carry to that level. But go ahead. I didn't mean to cut. I just wanted to put that out there so that people are clear, like, you know, because you have some Salafi guys that are very sincere, and when it comes to talking about issues about Aqeedah and all that, they don't really get into that. They real studious, and they sincere in what they doing. So, it's different from those who are extreme. And you can have extreme on either side,
Right.
right? You can
Right.
have extremes. You can have extreme Salafis, and you got some, unfortunately, from Ahl Sunnah that are too extreme too. You know what I mean? They doing the same thing what the Wahhabis do, but from the Sunni side, and that's not good either. Just to be real. Well, go ahead. Let's get to the question, inshallah.
That's it right there. It's on the screen. Can y'all see it?
Nah, I can see it. Before he said, what universities has given Americans the opportunity to learn Islam for free? All right. I guess he's speaking about other than Arabia.
Medina. Yeah. That's a good point, though. That is a very good point.
It's a good point. But I remember in 2001, a brother from Mauritania came to Masjid Dawah, and he had offered to take 20 students to learn in Mauritania, but it was only related to Dawah, right? Learn some Arabic and then be trained in Dawah. No one took that opportunity. To do that. During that time, you had a university in Sudan which you could go learn for free, right? But all of these places that you can learn for free, you had to have a sponsorship, or you had to be working to be able to support yourself over there. You know what I'm saying? He said, did Al Azhar reach out to America and offer?
No, they didn't.
To my knowledge, no.
Yeah. That is a problem. That's what Solly said yesterday.
We
dropped the ball. As far as that goes, we did drop the ball.
Al Azhar has always been open for students to come learn there. At Al Azhar, one of our connections, one of my teachers, Sheikh Muhammad, Sheikh Imam Muhammad, at 63rd Street, Masjid Islamic Center of Chicago.
Hold on, man. We from 65th. We not from 63rd.
He was our connection to study at Al Azhar. He was like one of the representatives of Al Azhar, and that was in Chicago. And the education was free, but you still had to have sponsorship. You know what I'm saying? That's who opened the door for Ubaydullah Evans to study at Al Azhar was him. But he had a sponsorship though. You follow me? Everybody else that went there, and they supported themselves.
So that's a problem, and I really think we need to do a program on that. That's one of my major reservations because, alhamdulillah, I've been a serious student since I came into Islam, and if I had been provided the opportunity of some type of sponsorship, then subhanallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows how far I could have taken. My deen was much stronger when I was in the cell by myself with the Quran, memorizing that all day, memorizing hadith, learning Arabic, so we have the potential to do it. Like Saleh said, Saleh Abdul Majid said yesterday, we dropped the ball on that. Not us, the African Americans in particular, but our brothers from the homelands. What the brother Ahmed Sadiq, he said, Ahmed Sadiq said, as long as Saudi has oil money, this is going to continue. So another aspect of all of this is, like you said, I forget which one of y'all said it, but all this stuff was happening simultaneous of the fall of the Khilaf. As a matter of fact, that was you, Imam Muhammad. You took it all the way back to the early 18th century, late 17th and early 18th century, when the Khilafah was in decline and all of this stuff started to come up. they don't
18th
have.
century, the early 19th century.
Okay, my bad. Late 18th, early 19th century. The Khilafah was in decline, so all of the lands of Ahl Sunnah, Sind or Hind, Hind and Sind, the traditional Khorasan, Africa, they were all in decline. They didn't broker the deal with the British and the Mossad like Saudi did, and then got the new money, the new world money behind them to throw these kinds of sponsorships out there like that. So this was an organic problem. I don't think there was any blame. There was no international play, if you will, on the behalf of our Shehu family in that region, the Ahmad Bambas family, all of our shuyukh, the Muhammad Zacarias is coming out of Southeast Asia. There was no political play been put down at that time. And at the same time, they were kind of defending their own Islamic lands when all of that stuff happened.
Now, mind you, the narrative of that all of this is British highlight, is British influence. When they had the first conference of the establishment of the state of Israel, they invited Abdulaziz Hussein of Jordan and King Faisal Abdulaziz ibn Saud to this national convention establishing the state of Israel. It was like in 1946, 1948.
What was it called? The something pact? What was it?
It was called something of
some
that
type
nature.
Of pact or something. Yeah.
Also, the other person that was present there was the dude that they called Lawrence of Arabia.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was present too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? With the other question that he had, how do they feel about Jamaj and the students they produce? I don't know who that is.
That's the school in Yemen. That's I forgot the sheikh's name. The one that had the daughter.
That's the Hadith, the guy that's like big on Hadith, ain't it?
Yeah. Mukbil, Sheikh Mukbil. Sheikh Mukbil. That's the Sheikh Mukbil was that. That's in Yemen. They are the most. They are some of the most extreme Salafis. That group, the ones that come out of Damascus. Now, a lot of them are well learned. Like they know Arabic well and memorize a lot, and they struggle to learn. But what they come in with though is they are from the extreme faction of the Salafi movement. From what I
said, a big thing, Sheikh Tahir Wyatt.
Now he asked us, are we? He said he's not familiar with the guests, but how do they view Sheikh Tahir Wyatt and his efforts? Well, I met Sheikh Tahir Wyatt one time at a janazah. You know what I'm saying? The brother Isa Abu Isa, when his son had got killed, they had his janazah at Philadelphia Masjid. All right.
Our Abu Isa?
No, Isa Abu Isa.
Oh, okay.
He's like, he was like one of the guests on the Mektab Ibn Taymiyyah. It was called the night the night crew or something.
Oh, okay.
It was called the night crew or something, or the night shift. You know what I'm saying? Where they interviewed people. They interviewed Sadiq Muhammad, interviewed Mufti Munir Muhammad. You know what I'm saying? They did interview, but they were Salafi, right? But when his son got killed, they had his janazah there. And Tahir Wyatt, he had gave a talk before we prayed the janazah prayer. Right? So I don't even know anything about him other than he studied in Saudi for 26 years. He introduced all of them to the shuyukh over there when they came to study. he was their liaison to the ulama there. You know, and he taught in the Prophet Sallallahu Masjid the last period of time he was there. As far as his efforts here, I had no idea about it. I don't know anything about it. I'm not. I don't grab.
You familiar, Ustad? Ustad, you familiar?
Not at all. I don't follow them like that. I heard about
he's a little younger though, right?
I don't know. I think he might probably in his 40s. I think I'm not really sure.
He's younger than y'all.
Who you talking about?
He's talking about
Tahir White. I don't know how old he is.
I think he in his 40s. I think he might be early mid 40s. So he's more close to my generation than it is to y'all. So he would have been a student of the recruiters or the recruited.
You made me feel like I'm 70 years old. I ain't that old.
I ain't that old neither.
Don't do me like that, shit.
No, alhamdulillah. Let me see. I don't think we have much more questions. We had a lot of participation in the comments, man. We working on 2.5 hours. This is a conversation.
Everybody shared everybody shared the live.
Yes, that's the thing.
Yeah. First, hit the like button. Hit the like button because y'all know this stuff works. Now we don't get paid, y'all. We all got jobs. We working 9 to 5 people. But if y'all want to surface this conversation, the people who watched and the people who engaged, if y'all want to surface this, y'all know this whole computer system. It don't care what you talking about or what you did. We could be talking about killing our mothers. And if a lot of people is liking it, heartening and sharing it, then it's going to trend and it's going to get out there. We forget the faces, forget the people, any of that. We need to get this conversation viral. We need to make this conversation viral. So if y'all engage this, like it, heart it, put some type of reaction so we can get the juices flowing with all of this. We have to. We have to control our own media, y'all, especially in the minority communities. We talk about this all the time. We got some material coming on how we don't control our own media. So we are controlled by the media. We don't play the game that's at hand. We're not playing the game that's at hand. So, I mean, and we're gonna try our best. We're gonna put the link to the group in the conversation in the chat. But we gonna we want to have guests from the people on because we just a few people. You know what I mean? We not everybody about all of this. We just trying to put together whatever we can. So I got an idea that we bring on some of the guests, and there's a lot of guests. There's a lot of people seeing this stuff, and there's a lot of people that need to be heard. Like City, me and City been cool, via our teachers for a long time. City Nasir, I didn't know he was on the scene. You know what I'm saying? So this is some stuff that needs to come out. It needs to be heard. This conversation needs to be had, and we need to put our perspective on it. We in everybody's books. We in everybody's majlis. We in everybody's masajid. Our voice is not being heard. Let's put our minority voice on this, and especially the black voice. We have to, because we all got our own masajid. Like y'all out there, y'all got we don't have any black masajids here, y'all. Y'all know that, right? Cleveland do, because Cleveland is heavily connected with Chicago and Detroit. But anything south of Cleveland and Ohio, we don't have our own black masajid here. We kind of sucked into everything that everybody else going on. So to hear y'all speak from y'all's perspective and from that experience and the independence of it all, that is so heroic in my eyes, man. That is so heroic. And for us to be doing our own thing, educating our own, educating our own selves, sending our own to be educated, these are huge problems. And it's a little political because this deals with the marginalization of the black community as a whole. So we're dealing with that as well. And this is a bigger monster that we have to fight. Not like Imam Muhammad said, not where I think Allah is. That's not even far for anybody, if anybody even to know. We don't have to know that. We're not burdened with knowing that. We're not burdened to know the how of the istiwa or any of the modality of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is none of our business. Now, with that being said, let's get to business, y'all. Right. That's what we're challenging our Salafi brothers and sisters. Let's get busy. Let's get to business. Let's start changing lives. Let's get everybody want to go back to that beautiful golden age of Islam. What did Ibn Umar say when the Sahabi came and asked him and said, "Hey, how did y'all succeed? Spreading the da'wah of Islam, all over the world. We're doing jihad. Y'all do jihad. Please excuse me, Mr. FBI, the alphabet board, for saying the J word. We're not going to kill anybody. We ain't gonna do none of that. So let me say that because they watching. But this is what was said in the hadith or the athar, and he told them, say, y'all are fighting because of y'all's nafs. We fought because it was the sake of Allah, the word of Allah, sincerity. And I'm paraphrasing that out there. We need to get to that. Now, we are challenging y'all. We're putting the ball in y'all's court. I hope they see this. I know they're going to see it. Y'all share this on y'all page. Everybody got Salafi friends. If y'all not Salafi that's watching this, we are challenging y'all to stop the civil war, to stop cyber killing us like Ibn Abdul Wahab did. I don't care what y'all say. I don't care what they say. What he did was wrong. It can't nobody justify him going village to village slaughtering Muslims. And we have that mentality with each other. We telling you, we threw the peace treaty out there. We threw the white flag. We drawing up the white flag right now. We don't want to fight no more, y'all. We want to save our communities. We want to save our lives. We have no choice but to live in America, y'all. Most of us. It's some people that's from overseas that's looking at this. We have no choice, y'all. We have to make the best out of what we have. And fighting and killing each other over, and spiritually, it's not the way that we're going to read. And Philadelphia is the Salafi capital in the world, and they have the highest. Them, Chicago, and Detroit, and Baltimore, all strong Salafi strongholds, all have the highest murder rate in America. Black people, not what we say the kuffar, the Yahud, the Nasara. I watched them stupid videos. They ain't doing nothing. They not killing us. We killing us. We killing us. We have the highest murder rate. That's why they call Chicago Chirac. Because in 2015, Chicago had a higher murder and death rate than Iraq did at the time. We need to save hearts, minds, and souls. And we need to bind together to do it. I can't stand side to side with my brother if you don't think I'm your brother. The rule, and that's what we do to these technical videos. I got the debunking the Salafi doctrine series. I'm not trying to be funny, y'all. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to show y'all what the actual Quran and Sunnah is. And that's what we're doing here. I got the old heads on here. This ain't just crazy old little young goofy Kabir. It ain't just me. We got people who was actually boots on the ground that was built into forget the concrete. They can say, we was running on the same pavement. We from the same slab. Y'all built the slabs. Y'all built the pavements. Khalas. We're off in the peace treaty. Come, let's talk about this stuff. Let's sit down. Let's congregate. Let's put the hawk. Everybody say dalil. Where's the dalil? Where's the evidence, brother? We have evidence. We asking y'all to come to the Quran and Sunnah. And we're not being funny. Talk to Sunnah about Jamal. We're not being funny. We're not being funny. We saying like, hold up, y'all, no, it ain't like that. That's what we trying to say. We're conveying. We opening up. Y'all say da'wah, we doing da'wah. Y'all say tabligh, we doing tabligh. That's what this is. We're trying to bring this stuff together and unify. And at the end of the day, we got valuable lives, hearts, minds, and souls. And I'm gonna end with this. We got hearts, minds, and souls at stake here. Imam Ali, radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he said that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told him, and I'm paraphrasing, he said that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told him that if you guide one person, then that'll be enough for you on the day of Qiyamah.
That's it, just one.
La ilaha illallah.
Just one.
We come on now. That's it. We try hearts, minds, and souls. Hearts, minds, and souls. That's it. So we all do have some ulterior motive. My ulterior motive, maybe out of 1,000 views, one person will get the hidayah, and I ain't worried about y'all. Hopefully, I get it, and that'll be enough for me on the Qiyamah. And then we'll worry about what y'all get later. Closing comments, y'all. Closing comments, man. We almost going for 3 hours. Closing comments.
Yeah, just to wrap up, or to add to what Imam Muhammad said about having patience and giving a dawah, is to remind ourselves that the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, he was rahmatul alameen, right? He was a mercy sent to al alameen, right? Which means all of the mankind and jinn, right? So he was the mercy to all of the mankind. Like Allah was merciful by giving us the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So we should be reminding ourselves in giving the da'wah, calling people away from the Wahhabiyya and Salafiyya, that we should give the da'wah in the way the Prophet ﷺ gave the da'wah. And the way he gave it, he called people with love and with sincerity, right? And basically, this is what I think the solution is, along with educating ourselves. We have to take the time out, and I know it's difficult to do it with everybody, with their daily lives, but take some portion of your day, 1 hour, 2 hour, or even of your night. Take some time and dedicate it to educating yourself so that you'll be able to read and you won't have to be spoon-fed your religion, basically. That's what I want to add. And another thing that we should be looking to is to go to our communities in these neighborhoods where our young Muslim men are at. Let's go talk to them and teach them the religion with sincerity. Show them how to be good Muslims, because a lot of them got one foot in the dunya and one foot in the masjid. Like I'm here in Atlanta, where we have young Muslim brothers with Allah tattoos on their face.
Oh yeah.
Like this is a real thing. Like, so, like how do we navigate that? Where
not by talking to him about where Allah is.
No, not at all. That's like
he don't know where he at.
He look at you like, dude, like what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Right? So, the thing is, and the brothers, they always.
I was to be like, sorry, I did like this, y'all, because somebody will be coming like, let's screenshot this and be like, see, look, there's a madhabi that So no.
So the thing along, like I saw somebody put in the comments a little while ago, the thing along with calling people away from haram, like being in the streets and whatnot, is to develop opportunities, give them an alternative. Because you telling them not to hustle, and this is the way how they earning their daily bread. What are you giving them to replace them? Replace that money that he was earning in the street illegally, right? So we have a lot of work to do, on that scale, like giving back to them. And so us going back and forth, arguing and back even amongst each other, and with other groups or whatnot, this is not the way. All I see it doing is turning people away. Like, is that all these guys do? Right? That's not the way. So our way is to call people, following the footsteps of the Prophet ﷺ, calling people to the way of Allah Ta'ala with love and sincerity.
You and Muhammad?
Subhanallah.
Yeah, this was some heavy stuff, man.
Yeah, it's subhanallah. It's so many things that some things that you had mentioned. Remind me of some other events that had taken place in the past. In my upbringing. So it's like, alhamdulillah, we have to, so we have to do better. One of the things you had mentioned, I remember one time a brother was having some trouble at his house, well, actually in his neighborhood, to where he was trying to move the drugs from in front of his house, and he got into it with them guys out there. So as a result, he had called Sheikh Rami, and he had called Osama Bilal Ashraf. And so, you know what I'm saying, when we got over there, it was like about 40 of us who was loaded up, you know what I'm saying, waited up. And when we got there, we diffused the situation. But the leader of the neighborhood, who was actually the man out there, he had came to us. He was like interested in Islam. And he was asking Sheikh Rami, he said, do the Muslims have a place or alternative that for new Muslims to come in that come from this lifestyle, to leave this lifestyle?
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? To leave this
Wow.
lifestyle. You had
That's
he was basically saying that I accept Islam and all these guys will come with me. You know what I'm saying? But
wow.
if y'all don't, if there's no alternative to leave this lifestyle,
Right.
then you know what I'm saying, how can we go about making a transition like that? Exactly. And when he said that, that made me think like, wow, you know, we have a lot of work to do.
A lot of work to do.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of work to do, because it's hundreds of guys like that.
Right. They out here.
It's
thousands
hundreds of guys like that.
They
thousands.
Yeah.
They out here.
And we all older. Even my guys at my age, they call me OG now. And sometimes it surprises me, like stuff like this. They won't sit and watch this whole video, but they be like, yeah, Big Bro, his Muslim stuff. And when they need to hear a word to the good, wallahi, they hit me in the inbox. Big Bro, I need to holler at you about something.
Yeah.
He didn't come out of left field. I'm talking about they in the field right now. Like whole face covered with tattoos. Not one of them is Allah or Muslim yet. But whole face covered with tattoos. They, like you said earlier, they watching.
Yeah.
They watching.
Or you're gonna see them or you know, the ones that are Muslim, you're gonna see them at the masjid. At least on a Friday, you're gonna see them there. They there.
I remember a brother I was locked up with. I used to work out with him in the joint. When we used to work out, I used to get him and other guys dawah. I come home, we came home around the same time. I was still hitting him, you know what I'm saying, getting him dawah, because his shop was like right around the corner from my house. So then, like around 2013, 2014, next place I see him at, he in the masjid. He saw me, he was like, man, I took Shahada, man. I was like, alhamdulillah. You know what I'm saying? All that time. You follow what I'm saying? Now, you know, so from that time to that time, it was like 20 years past. It was like 20 years past. You know what I mean? So
they watching.
It's you know, it's a lot of people. It's a lot of people that get coming to Islam like that. You know what I mean? They may get a little bit of something,
but they watching.
They get a little bit of something, and Allah Ta'ala give them hidayat from it.
They watching.
You know what I'm saying? So we have to.
What was that? That was the group.
All right, okay, we're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah. We might have to have sister send this to Sister Betsy. You know, she know computers real well, and have her break it down for us until like a 1 or 2. Get this 2 hours and 43 minutes.
She had mentioned something that I had forgot. That was the Balfour Declaration. The Balfour Declaration.
Yeah, the Balfour Agreement. The Balfour Declaration.
Yeah, Balfour Agreement.
Right. Now, City just put up a big one. Hey, City, we might have to get you on here, man. You got some juice, man. You got some Jews. You got to give them up. We might have to get City in here, man. Well, we're gonna wrap this up. It's 11 o'clock. SubhanAllah. This was a good one, man. I was telling everybody this was a good one. This is history. Man, Siri, what is you doing? Siri, all in my business. Um, um, this was a good one. I definitely appreciate the brothers, man. I appreciate y'all donating this time because y'all give it to us all the time in the group, to the youngers, to the youngers in the group. So
Yeah,
to give it up.
Because we way past our bedtime. Our bedtime is at 7:30 p.m.
Shots fired.
Our bedtime is at 7:30 p.m.
Hey, y'all. Hey, Solid was mad. I don't know what last night.
Y'all going, yeah, I don't know what y'all talking about, man. I'm 32. I don't know what y'all talking about.
Y'all crazy.
Yeah,
well, anything we said belongs. That's right. It belongs to Allah, His messenger, and His beautiful religion. And anything that we might have slipped in, it did not belong to Allah and His beautiful religion and the illustrious ulama. We appreciate all of the support, all of the views. I know y'all got football that y'all could be watching, but you know we playing the Super Bowl of the soul right now. I played football. I love it. So you know this kind of stuff is more important. We have an obligation. We need to have these types of conversations. These kind of efforts are needed. So we appreciate the viewers, the individuals that participate. Definitely in the comments. I normally address the comments, but we got like more than we normally have. So we don't have no more time to address the comments. Maybe inshallah we can go back and go through, and maybe we can build some material off of that or get with some of these individuals. Inshallah. We definitely love y'all all for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like this, heart it, whatever. Don't heart it, laugh at it. Give us some type of reaction. I know it's gonna be some hardcore dudes that's like, I ain't giving them no airplay. But anybody who that enjoyed this program, and mind y'all, we're not getting no money. We're not trying to get no money. We're not trying to do none of that, y'all. We just trying to, like we said, we trying to level the playing field a little bit. We want everybody to get our. So this is the narrative. Let me put this out there real quick. This is our whole narrative. We all had the admins in the group. We all made an exerted effort to find a sheikh or have a sheikh or utilize an actual sheikh, and we are benefiting from it. We haven't worked hard enough to spread our benefit that we got with the established ulama amongst the Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah. So that's what this program, this channel, the group, we got the group right here on the screen. I hope y'all can see it. This is my lousy effort at trying to, get all this stuff good. But come to the platform, participate in the platform. It is pro Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah. We do not post like Salafi Aqeedah or any of that. That's not our move. Our move is the four madahib and the Aqeedah of the four madahib, of the four imams. That is our place. That is our position. None of us are in or go in like the Salafi groups and start fitting up with them. We don't do that. So we would like that same respect. But at the same time, we want to open up this dialogue, if not with them, amongst each other, amongst ourselves. We putting the actual Aqeedah of the Salaf. So what we got going on in the actual Salafi Minhaj is not the reality of the Aqeedah of the Salaf. That is our thing. We're speaking out against that. We about that, not against it. We're speaking out about that. We're trying to convey what the actual Aqeedah of the Salaf is. And that and fiqh goes with that, our everyday daily worship. And we're working on a program where we will be providing the basics of worship, the basic fiqh of worship from all of the four madahib perspectives. Inshallah, shared by the admins in this group. It's gonna be very easy, very comprehensive, very relatable. We're doing a lot of hard work, studying, memorizing, and stuff behind the scenes on top of working and everything. So We're going to have that pumping out, hopefully, inshallah, in the next couple of weeks, where y'all could just turn on. We'll have all these conversations pinned at the top. Y'all can just hit, here go the fiqh of the Malik. And we're going to be coming the Malik piece. And we're going to be coming out of approved books that have sanad, that have connection all the way back to the actual Salafi Salihin. So we're putting that effort together right now. So that, like I said yesterday, we're not only going to take something away, but we're going to add something. So this is the actual Aqeedah of the Salaf. Not pamphlets, the actual Aqeedah of the Salaf. This is your connection to the Aqeedah on the Salaf. Now, which one of y'all going to call Imam Amin and have him on and get him on here?
I call him.
You call him, get him on here. We need his perspective. We need it. Because he was a pivotal point in this. He was a very
somebody tag him in the comments.
Inshallah.
But I will call him though.
Inshallah. Also, we got to get the perspective, the born and raised perspective of Amir Khalil and Imam Malik in Jersey.
No.
We gotta get them on here. They work a lot, so inshallah, we're gonna have them. We're gonna get them. We gotta get them in on this. We got to, inshallah.
No.
So if y'all ain't got nothing else, we're gonna peace out, inshallah.
سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الكريم آمين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'll talk to y'all in the morning. Don't be blowing the phone up. I'll talk to y'all in the morning.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.